and Nasi, Alex Young up to P2.
Wow, that's a great position by Mikko Nasi. And look at them, they're closing down the gap to Ayman. Aleef. Closing down the gap to Aleef. So it's the three of them back at the front again. The usual suspects right at the front. You got Ayman Hakim right there in the fifth, but he has got DRS and he's staying with this train of cars. And behind Ayman, Kalen Chin in the Black Wolf is just losing touch with the top five at the moment. He has got Troy Ayman right behind him, however.
Yeah, so there's actually two sets of trains here. Kalen is leading the second choo-choo train, but he has got Ayman and Mohammed Nabil and Mohammed Ibrahim alongside them. Further down, who've we got? Whelan Choi, Alex. Whelan Choi has got himself up into P14.
Whoa.
Just going past Alistair Young there, and Whelan, talk about an improvement.
Yeah, that was him with, I think, with Josh Perwin or something. Oh, no, he's had contact with someone. I'm not sure who's he's hitting right now, but he's right in the mix of it, and it's great to see him up there in 14th position. What a good job he's doing.
This is Lei, currently in P17. He's just ahead of Nat Sirigaya from Thailand, but good to see Lehong Vin Long, who's a privateer, in his first E1 championship race, but out to the points at the moment. The points at the moment, Alex Young, belong to Mohammed Ali Hamilton, who is in P1.
Yeah, P15, he's struggling a bit at the back at the moment.
Wow, we expected Josh, because he was pretty quick in qualification, we expected him to do well. Not such a good return though, but the reverse grid race, if you're in P15 or so, isn't so bad, because you can pick up points in race 2.
Yeah, look, he's there, he's talking, he's obviously on Discord with his teammates, trying to talk about what's happening with the car. But yes, he just needs to try and pick up a couple more positions, and he'll start at the front for race 2. Obviously did not have a good first lap, but there's still a lot to play for. Look at that, Hakim all over the back of him, but they've lost touch with the top three.
Indeed.
Wow.
Those top three have raced away, fizzed away, and the superstars we expected to be there have gone away. But Tasby in 4, Tadashi in P5, and in the pre-show, Alex, for Tadashi, we spoke about consistency. 8 podiums last year. He needs to get that up to 12.
This is the guys at the front. Aleef there, ready coming up to the first of the back markers.
Wow.
This is a short lap, so you do come up against the back markers quite quickly. But Mikko Nasi right behind, and Nakib there in P3, so they are nose to tail as they come down to turn 3.
Don't be put off because the back markers, oh, there's a bit of contact. The back markers have got to be careful. They will get the blue flags to make sure that they move out of the way. Nasi's got to go in for a bit.
Wow, look,
well, it was a big gamble. The soft tyre was a huge gamble, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a huge gamble. I wonder if he chose the wrong tyre, because I don't think he'd make that sort of mistake. You can't recover with a pit stop in race 1. Race 1 is too short. It's only 15 minutes.
Nakib 2 seconds down on Aleef. There is Nakib. He's looking forward. He's looking into the far distance. Aleef, where are you, my friend? I'm going round the corner ahead of you, he says.
Yeah, looking really good indeed. Nakib, though, he's looking calm. He's 2 seconds down. It's possible to close that gap. We've seen him do that before in the past, but the reigning champion is definitely under pressure.
A little bit more leisurely in P4, Troy Ayman under pressure from Kalen Chin, Mohammed Ibrahim and Mohammed Nabil. Those lime green Stratos colours really are easy to pick out, but that makes Kalen Chin on the tail of Troy Ayman. 2 youngsters, both teenagers. Troy looking a little bit open-mouthed, a little bit tense there. Kalen looking very determined. Tadashi has had a slow down penalty. That means that he is under pressure from Mohammed Tasby. Tasby tried to go around the outside. Ayman Hakim just held him off, but I think he's actually served his penalty. It's a very cute time on the lap.
Yeah, so Tasby's all over the back of Ayman, which, bit of rear locking there from Tasby, just managed to save it.
You look at the scoreboard, despite what's happening visually, Aleef is increasing his lead over Nakib. It is up to 2.8, 2.9 seconds.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. 3 seconds now.
Let's move down to P9. Jack Ding Chung from Hong Kong on debut has made greater moves. He's got himself up into the top 10. It's Inigo Anton, the fast Filipino, who is chasing him, and Mikko Nasi is behind them. but that is a three-way drive and jacked in, then goes very, very wide. Picked the wrong time to follow him, Alex.
Presley Martono's in the pits. Is he in for another pit stop? I wonder if he's, yeah, look, he's in for a tyre change.
Wow.
It's very late to do a pit stop at
It
this point.
certainly is, Presley. This is a very, very fine start for a debut team. Aleef, Hamilton and Tasby are representing the
Team
Flash
Flash.
team.
Team Flash.
They're looking a bit flash as well.
They are. Let's see. Look, this is the view from Ayman Hakim's car. He is just going through turn one there. He's within DRS at this point. So DRS is activated. You can see the button, it's flashing. He's going to the inside of this corner, which means he'll be the outside for turn two. Can he hold it though? Can he? Oh, he's going to try and go around the outside. There's contact. No contact. They give each other just enough racing room. And then look at that. Ayman will have one more dose of DRS, and that's just enough to put him in front.
The race win goes to Mohammed Aleef Hamilton. He takes race number one from Naqib Aslam. Tadashi will come in P3 ahead of Tasby. The red lights are off. We are underway. Look backwards. Joachim sees a lot of contact going behind him, and he's got off to a really sweet start, Alex Young. He's taken Alistair Young and Arif Azmi with him, and Whelan Choi in P4 as well. Good stuff from Whelan Choi, but great stuff from Joachim Garrido. Let's have a look at those a little bit further down. Mohammed Aleef Hamilton started in P15, winner of race number one. He's taking it nice and easily. Both he and Tasby, I think, Alex, have said, listen, let's not get involved early on in this race. There's 30 minutes to go, but they can't leave it too long. Naqib, P2 in race one, but the defending champion out of the points, Alex, because he was barged out of the way in traffic.
He's got issues.
Miko Nasi is the new race leader. Miko has overtaken Joachim Garrido. We are on lap 2 at the moment. I think Garrido was leading at the end of lap 1, but Nasi, who had that interesting, in inverted commas, pit strategy and tyre strategy, he's on soft compounds again.
Yeah, he's on the soft compound, so he's gone for the aggressive strategy. Super aggressive strategy, shall I say.
Mohammed Nabil is the man who's got himself into P2, and Nabil, the brother of Naqib, who is still really struggling. Naqib, I think, is almost out of the race. Nabil in P2 ahead of Joachim Garrido in 3. There's a nice little train of 5 cars there. We're on board here with Inigo Anton.
Yeah, he's going to try and go around the outside of one of the Stratos cars. I think that was Azmi. Oh, nice move there around the outside at turn 1. Great move. And now all over the back of Alistair Young.
Miko is up to 4 seconds from Nabil. He stayed out. How long will he stay out on these soft tyres?
He's going to have to stay out, I think, for...
halfway?
No, I think he'll be in... He went in about 7 minutes in race 1, so I think he'll be the same again. He's just going to push. The question is, will he go for a 2-stop strategy, or will he go for a 1-stop? Because if he wants to go for a 1-stop, he's got to try and get to maybe the 10-minute mark, maybe the 8, 9, 10-minute mark.
Ben Seek driving out of Brunei. He is in P14 at the moment in the not quite lime green, but the pale lime green. And it's Presley Martono that he is chasing, and Mika Hakimi just behind him. But in the points at the moment, Ben Seek. We'll stick with Fadley just for a moment.
Yeah.
Then he just goes a little bit wide, and Tasby looks quick.
Yeah, so Fadley did a good job because he was right at the back. Both the JMX Phantom cars struggled in race 1, obviously with some lag issues. I think they were right at the back, so he's got up into the 12th position, and he's showing some good pace here because he's right in the back of Tasby. And maybe he can make a couple more positions before they have to think about pit stops.
Aleef Hamilton has got himself up into P5. This is ominous because there's still over 20 minutes to go. He's on hard compounds. He's got Inigo Anton and Alistair Young in his sights, but the winner of race number 1, and he was on the front row of the grid. I don't think he was fastest in qualifying, but the winner of race 1 is majestically got himself up into P5.
Yeah, he's looking good, isn't he? Contact between the two of them. No, that was contact, and that's really helped Aleef. Look, Aleef's now all the way on the back of Anton.
So Alistair Young is currently in P3. He's in the red and black. P4 is Inigo Anton, and as you quite rightly say, Aleef is chasing. He's dragging Troy Ayman with him. It's a lead of 5 seconds over Mohammed Nabil. Now then, the big question which we don't know is whether the hard compounds will last the full 30 minutes.
Well, this is really impressive from Nabil, because Nabil is one of the ERGP cars. He qualified for this race through the ERGP leaderboard. But if you qualify the race, he's one of two. Him and Gonzalez is the other one. You have to race with 15 kilos of weight ballast, which is equivalent to a race, because we have success ballast in the series, of course, and if you win the previous race, you have to carry 15 kilos. So Nabil is doing a really good job with that ballast.
Joachim is down in P9 and facing pressure from the Indonesian double threat, Fadli Rahmat and Presley Martono. Rahmat goes past Joachim, Presley tries to go past as well, Tasby as well, and wow. That is not a good 10 seconds in the racing life of Joachim Garrido. Mikko Nassi has gone into the pits, Alex, and Mikko Nassi has come back out in P17. And he's on soft compound tyres again.
Wow, don't tell me he's doing a two-stop strategy. He's doing a two-stop strategy. He must be doing a two-stop strategy. That's incredible. So, that's a super aggressive strategy for Mikko Nassi. He's got to sieve through the field though. To make this work, he's got to clear these guys super fast. Look, he's got the soft tyres. Let's see if he can squeeze out. Oh,
that bench seat closing that door, saying you're too close. So he goes round the inside, does Mikko Nassi. Jack Ding Chung is ahead of him, and then, but a two-stop strategy for Mikko Nassi. Desperation already.
Trying to use the DRS, but Ben Six still not giving up. Goes down the inside. Careful he doesn't punch her. A nice try by Ben. Didn't quite make it happen though.
The big smile from Ben Six. Stop enjoying yourself, fella. You're not here for fun.
It's supposed to be serious stuff.
The new race leader, Mohammed Nabil. Nabil, big call. ERacing GP competitor. They're not expected to be at the top of the leaderboard, Alex Young.
No, with 15 kilos ballast, but he's just showing how quick he is. This, of course, Naqib Aslan's brother. They're very, very talented in the family, he's doing a good job. Look at who's that in P2? Alistair Young. Alistair's still there.
That's another talented family, to be fair.
Well, I'm just a bit surprised. There's been so many slow-down penalties. He's going to start dropping back very soon.
Kalen looks backwards to Inigo and backwards to Muhammad Aleef Hamilton. And also Troy Iman is in there. That lime green, so easy to pick out. It's a smiling, it's a serious Kalen Chin today. He's a Grim Reaper today.
Yeah, he looks like he's put on some height as well. He looked shorter last time I saw him. But great job by the Black Wolf car to get up to P3. Really, really fine driving, because he wasn't even on our radar, was he? He was in the mid-pack, and he's managed to move up and overtake Aleef and Inigo.
So, Alistair was in P2. Nabil has stayed out in P1. Hard compound tyres. I've asked you 3 times. We're still no closer to an answer. What's the wear and tear on these hard compounds?
So the hard compounds last a lot better than the medium compounds and the soft compounds. And the hard compounds actually she can still do decent lap time. So Nabil's there, but you've got to feel that he's another penalty. You've got to feel that Nabil's in really good shape right now, but he's got to be thinking about a pit stop. But he's going to try and stretch it out a bit longer, because the good thing about starting on the hard tires is if you can stretch it out, don't come in at the 15-minute mark, don't come in at the 20-minute mark, maybe come in at the 22-minute mark, you can go to soft tires. And if you can go to soft tires, you're laughing, because the soft tires have so much grip, and if you can just run 10 minutes on the soft tires, Nabil will be looking in great shape.
Maybe that is something that Naqib Aslan can do. Naqib is still out there, Alex. He's a long, long way down. He's in P20. He's out of the points. But if he can time a soft compound tyre, to last 12 minutes, he could get up into the points. Mohammed Aleef is making a move here on Inigo Anton. Aleef goes through the inside of Inigo Anton. Anton drops from 3 to 4 and feels the pressure from Troy Iman behind him, but Aleef then just flexes those muscles. Anton, he's lost 2 places there, Inigo Anton. He's lost 3 places because Ibrahim's gone through. What's happened to Inigo Anton, Alex?
He's still there. He's just dropping back a bit. He's suffering a little bit from lag, and he's just dropped back a bit.
But into P6 it is. Up at the front, Kalen Chin is making a move. Kalen Chin very, very close on the back of Mohammed Nabil. You were expecting this. That's a back marker being overtaken. It's Kalen Chin moves around the outside, swerving all over the circuit to try to get around the outside on turn number 1, and is pushed very, very wide. Good defensive driving from Nabil. We're beyond halfway now. If they were, it's a big
look,
call. Kalen's the new race leader.
Oh, then he goes run wide. Oh, Kalen, that's just... he's just making it super hard for himself, and this is going to compromise his chance of winning this race. He's not won a race 2 before in ERGP. And if he doesn't drive smart, he's going to lose this race as well.
Well, this time he does get past and then loses it again. You can see his reaction. He's wondering what's going on. That might be a game problem for him.
No, he's got a puncher. He's got a puncher.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, he had contact with Nabil, and you can't afford contact. Oh, it's making it so easy for Aleef. Aleef is just going to go straight through as well. Has Aleef gone into the pits? No, Aleef's gone into the pits.
So Aleef Hamilton has gone into the pits, so it's not that easy. Nabil still leads. Kalen Chin has had a puncture. He is out of contention.
Oh, look, Kalen's still trying to get in the pit lane. Oh, with his punch, it's such a shame, Kalen. I think he's only got himself to blame because he had contact with Nabil on that lap. Once at turn 1, once at turn 2. Didn't play that smart, I feel, and unfortunately that's his race ruined.
So Aleef is, guess who he's trailing? He's trailing Mikko Nassi. Nassi is in 4th, Aleef is in 5th. Nassi is posting a 107.4. These are not fast laps from Mikko Nassi. He has got a 105.6, but Nassi in P4, Alex Young, isn't able to really make any ground on Troy Iman, Mohammed Ibrahim or Mohammed Nabil ahead of him.
Yeah, so he's because he went to the soft tire, his pit stop was a lot earlier, so these tires are getting really worn out now. So he'll be thinking about his second stop. He's the only one doing a second stop. Everyone is doing 1 stops. So Mikko Nassi will need to stop very soon. But then he's got to try and fight his way back on fresh rubber and see if he can get into the top 3. Here he is leading the race right now.
Nabil and Ibrahim into the pits.
Yeah, so
Nassi, the new race leader.
Let's see what Nabil and Ibrahim, what tires. They've gone for the soft tires. Good strategy. Let's see if Nabil comes. Oh, but Aleef has jumped him. Aleef has done the undercut, and he's in front of Nabil. Look, there's Nabil coming out of the pits, and there's Aleef. So Aleef, fantastic. He's up to P2 now with his earlier pit stop.
So if Nassi has to take another pit, he's only 10 seconds ahead of Aleef. That's nowhere near enough time to be able to pit for a second time. Nassi, he couldn't gamble and stay out. That'll be 17 minutes on soft compounds for Nassi. That's impossible, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think he's going to have to pit. Aleef's looking really good here. But he did take those soft tires quite early. You know, he's got to go through these soft tires on 12 minutes. The good thing is he's out in front, so he can take it nice and easy. If he can take it nice and easy, he should be able to win this race.
Nabil is the man in P3. Mikko Nassi is the man in P1. Interested to see as he comes towards the end of this lap. Stayed out again, has he? Oh no, he's not at the end of the lap. Where is he?
No, he's at turn 2. He's still got another lap.
Okay.
I would think he would be thinking about pitting now because his pace is, well, it's not being, oh no, actually, yeah, it's a 6s right now. He needs to think about pitting. He's going to come out of the pit lane with about 10 seconds down on Aleef, and I think it's going to be too far to make up.
Naqib Aslan, just as we speak at Nassi, Naqib is beginning to make headway, P16. Big problems for Naqib though. He was 14th on the grid and he's never really recovered, has he, Alex?
You know, he got involved in the argy-barginess of the turn 1, lost his front wing, had to pit straight away, so he was never really in the reckoning. So not going to be a good weekend for Naqib, although he did get P2 in race 1.
Indeed. You are allowed to throw 1 set of results between rounds 1 and 7 away, so there's always that to bear in mind, but you never want it to be round 1 or 2. You don't want it to be early in the season because it leaves you no room for error.
Yeah, that's right.
New race leader, Aleef Hamilton, because Nassi has indeed gone in for his second pit stop. Just coming out now, Nasi, when he does come out, will be coming out in P4. So a brave strategy against soft compounds. In fact, P6 when he eventually gets out, because Inigo, Anton, Tasbi, Ibrahim and Nabil, as well as Mohammed Aleef Hamilton, have all gone in front of him.
Yeah, Miko Nasi though, let's see, he's going to be, he's too far behind, isn't he? He's a good 13, 14 seconds behind the race leader, even though he's got the fresh tyres now, and he'll be able to drive as he likes, and he'll be setting fastest laps of the race for sure. I think the gap is too big right now for him to close it down to Aleef.
Well, there he is. He's going past Leona Chin, I think it is, who had a slow-down penalty. He's catching up fast on Inigo Anton. Inigo is 7 seconds down on Mohammed Tasbi, the race leader, by quite a margin, Alex. And he's new to this E1 championship, but he's a familiar face. There's already the glimmer of a little smile. With 6-7 minutes to go, you can already feel that he thinks that this is his.
Yeah, he has. He's done all the work. He's going to win a double. This is going to be maximum points for him. He's not going to fastest lap, I think, but still, he'll be super pleased with this. Really, really good result. A little bit further back from him, of course, Nabil there he is. He's only 3 seconds behind the race leader. But, you know, I'm not sure he's got the pace to try and close it down enough. And then, of course, Mohammed Ibrahim there in 3rd position. You know, the Stratos car. Actually, let's talk about Ibrahim. He's new to E1, and he's been very, very quiet. But there he is. He got 5th position in race 1, and now he's up to P3 in race 2. So, real quiet job by the Indian, but done a very, very, very impressive job. So it's good to see him up there in P3. A bit further back from the Stratos Motorsport car is Mohammed Tasbi, the 2nd of the Team Flash cars. There he is. He was not looking so good in the beginning of the race, but obviously I think after the pit stop, the changing of tyres has helped him, and he's looking quite good. And behind Tasbi, the flying Finn, Miko Nasi, setting some quick lap times right now as he goes in search of fastest lap of the race.
Good little battle going on in the lower reaches. Alistair Young has just got ahead of Mika Hakimi. They are old rivals, as Alistair Young in P12 here. He's had a lot of drive-through penalties, a couple of wry little smiles from Dad on Alistair.
And just ahead
in front of him, Presley Martono.
Yeah, Presley's doing a good job. He's in the points, both the JMX, Fadli Rahman also, both of them on the cusp. Presley in P11, Fadli, good job to get up to P8 though. Really good job by the JMX boys, you know, because they were nowhere in race 1, had their problems with the lag, so they started right at the back. But for them to get up into the top 10 is a really good result.
Oh, he's gone very wide there. The race leader is this man, Aleef. Alex Young, superlatives already this early in the season. He's taken a 105.3, still not fastest lap. That belongs to Mohammed Ibrahim. A 105 dead. That is quick from Mohammed Ibrahim. But no, sorry, Aleef has just gone faster. So he's posted 2 105 laps back-to-back, Aleef Hamilton.
Mohammed Ibrahim's just found some pace. You know, his last lap was a 5.0. On tyres are getting a little bit worn. So he's trying to close down the gap to P2. If you look from his cockpit view, you can just see at the top of the screen, Nabil just there in the distance. And Ibrahim will fancy his chances. You know, 4 minutes to go. There's still plenty of time to close the gap.
I saw Alistair took another penalty there.
I don't know what he's doing. Kick him out of the race, I think.
Well, he's up to P10 at the moment. We're still on board Mohammed Ibrahim. Mohammed Nabil is the new race leader. What's happened here? What has happened to Aleef?
Where is Aleef?
What has happened to Aleef? He's down in P12. A 2-stop strategy?
Oh, he must have taken his 2nd stop.
Wow.
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 I'd say we thought he'd won this race. But I did say that first, stop for soft tyres came very early. I thought he was going to go to hards, but there he had to pit, I guess. He was running out of tyres, scared he had to puncture. Wow, so now, okay, he's P12, he's still in the points. He's going to go for fastest lap, I think. He's not going to win the race. So, who's going to win the race, Des?
Well, Nabil is there. Mohammed Ibrahim is still there from India. It's Malaysia, India, and Nasi is up to P3, but 10 seconds down on Nabil and Ibrahim. We've got 3 minutes to race. They're all on soft compounds, but Nabil and Ibrahim, their tyres will be degrading by the second. Let's just see if Mikko Nassi...
No, Aleef is still there.
Aleef is
Okay,
P1.
so I think we have server issues again, so apologies for that. Yeah, no, looks like Aleef is still winning. It's just connection problems with the server. So Aleef is still there. He's somehow making sure those soft tires can hang on, and he's leading the race.
Occupational hazard of connectivity. Apologies for that. Apologies for Aleef Hamilton fans, or those who didn't want Aleef to win. But yeah, he is leading. It is going to be a win double.
Yeah, but this is a good battle we're watching right now. Nabil there having a good battle with Mohammed Ibrahim. There is Ibrahim. You can see, if you ride on board with Ibrahim, how close he is to Nabil now. It's just within touching distance. How many more laps we got? We got 2 more laps to go, Des?
So 1:53 to go. They're yeah, this +2, I feel. This +1.
Yeah, this +1, I think.
Oh no, this +2, Alex, because it's a 1:40. It's this +2.
Yeah,
they're coming through, so there are 2 laps remaining as they go through the start-finish line. Mohammed Ibrahim in P3, getting very, very close on the back of Mohammed Nabil, who disappears. And so let's move on to Aleef Hamilton once again, if we can. Oh, that's P2. Aleef disappears. Nabil in P2, facing the wrath of Ibrahim. Great battle. The Indian is doing superbly, Alex.
Yeah, no, really, really good job. Because the RaceRoom's not his game. As he goes down the inside, dives down the inside of Nabil. That's Ibrahim there. Great move, textbook move, just sent it down the inside. I think caught Nabil out by surprise.
Does he want to do that, though? Because DRS on the last lap, Nabil will have DRS.
Well, I think he fancies he's got the pace. And look at that, Nabil suffering in the dirty air through the double left-hander. And Ibrahim has a gap. Even if he doesn't have a second, this looks like a good move by Ibrahim because he clearly has the pace, and he's pulling away now from Nabil.
Nabil is the man that is in the red just behind. The DRS is implemented, and he has indeed. He's pulled half a second already, so half a second from Nabil. Aleef Hamilton is still leading the way. The top of the screen tells you that the race is nearly over. There are 20 seconds to race, so they will finish the lap that they are on. The race leader by a long way, Alex, despite that little scare, is Aleef. He is going to have a win double. He's going to pick up 50 points, and I think fastest lap for this race as well, a 1:05.004. Ibrahim currently in P2, Nabil in 3, Nassi in 4, Tasbi in 5.
Aleef there looking good as he comes through. Few more corners to go. This has been a great super show by Aleef, the Singaporean, just dominating proceedings.
You're going to get used to his voice because Alex is going to have to talk to him afterwards again. And the race double goes to Aleef Hamilton. He takes it. Mohammed Ibrahim holds off Mohammed Nabil for P2. Mikko Nassi will come through in P4 ahead of Mohammed Tasbi. Inigo Anton completing the top 6 for the Philippines as he comes over the line now. But our race winner, Alex Young, is for the second time Aleef Hamilton.
Last week was an eventful race.
Well, it was the Aleef Hamilton show, wasn't it?
He just put in a stellar performance to walk away with 2 wins back-to-back.
Red Bull Ring was actually very, very satisfying.
Not only Aleef, but Tasbi played his part as well.
For me to be in the top 3 with my brother, I feel happy.
Jason is going to come back to Team Flash to replace Tasbi, and he's got big shoes to fill.
I definitely do believe I can get back up to speed.
Disappointing for a lot of drivers. Nakib had the issue with the lag as well that kind of put him out of the race.
Unfortunately for me, in race 2, we had certain technicalities.
One of the drivers that surprised me was how quick Kalen Chin was.
I had the chance to win, but contact with Nabil caused me to get a puncture.
I think what the new boys have found is that this is a level above what they're used to, apart from Mohammed Ibrahim.
It's the first time he's been racing an E Championship.
Last week was a good race for me. It was the first race on RaceRoom.
Nabil Aslan as well.
Both the brothers are very strong.
It really exceeded my expectation because I never thought I'll be getting a podium in my first race.
The fact that he took the podium instead of me, it makes me a bit unhappy, but it'll be another good fight this weekend.
Everybody else has got to up their game.
because Aleef is the man to beat.
We've got to capitalize on having no success ballot.
I know where all the overtaking spots are.
We're 100% confident with all possible scenarios.
Focus on my qualifying pace.
Stay clean but aggressive at the same time. Trying to not overthink.
Avoid any unnecessary penalties.
It's always great to get new names coming onto the leaderboards. Hockenheim could be the track where it happens.
Hey guys, and welcome to Season 1 of the E1 Championship. We're here for Round 2 tonight, where we're racing at the Hockenheimring in Germany. Don't forget, you can catch all of the action for Season 1 live on the EGG network every Wednesday at 9 p.m, where we're going live across 18 countries across the Asia Pacific. Don't forget, you can also catch the action on our Facebook pages, on the EGG network, and on the E1 Championship. My name is Daniel Woodruff. I'll be your host for tonight, and with me is Alex Jung, the race director of the E1 Championship, and with us tonight in the commentary booth, we have Amer. He is back with us tonight. Now, last week we kicked off this season at the Red Bull Ring in Austria, and I think the standout thing for me was the size of the grid. I mean, we had 28 drivers showing up, which is an incredible turnout. But Alex, what was the highlight for you?
Well, I mean, you said it. Full grids. We couldn't get any more drivers or teams onto the grid. It was packed. But the highlight has to be Aleef Hamilton. You know, Team Flash from Singapore came into this season. They're brand new to the season. Aleef, the top driver, and took 2 race wins. You know, that was quite spectacular.
Well, we've got many more highlights to come tonight. But first, let's take a look at the results from last week's race. And here we have the overall qualifying results. There's our top 5, and it was Aleef Hamilton in P1. He was again at the top step in race 1, bagging the maximum amount of points at 25, with Naqib Aslan in 2nd and Ayman Hakim in 3rd. And there's the order for race 2. It was again Aleef Hamilton bagging a back-to-back win with the maximum amount of points. He didn't get the fastest lap. That went to Miko Nasi. And there we can see the overall results from race 1. It was a lot of green last season, but it's a lot of orange now after round 1. It's a very interesting result there. Alex, from the last couple of weeks, you've been watching a lot of sim races. How did round 1 of season 1 compare to those?
Well, I mean, always coming to the season, we knew there were a lot of good teams, good drivers starting for the first time. So we thought it'd be a nice mix-up between the old guys and the new guys. But I tell you what, the new boys dominated. You know, the top 3 in the championship now, completely new to E1 Championship. So the guys that were doing really well last season, you know, Naqib Aslan, Miko Nasi, Ayman Hakim, they'll be hurting, and they're going to be looking to strike back today.
Round 1 was also interesting because there were 3 Mohammeds in the top 3, and 2 of those drivers are actually brothers, and they're all on the same team. They were in Team Flash, which is that lovely orange car that we're seeing at the front. And it was also a family affair because there were also 2 brothers in the race as well. That's Naqib Aslan and Nabil Aslan. Amer, what did you think of those 2 brothers' performances last round?
Very impressive, to say the least. And it was almost like we weren't too surprised by it, but at the same time, for Nabil's sake, because we didn't expect him to actually come into the championship immediately and be that fast. So it'll be interesting to see him do that again for this particular round. So yeah, the brotherly storylines are coming about pretty nicely.
And we'll see what they get up to very soon for round 2 tonight. But first, let's take a look at a couple more highlights from round 1 last week.
E1 Championship Season 1 gets underway.
Tasby, he is closing in on Naqib right now.
Aleef Hamilton is leading the way after 1 lap.
Ayman Hakim all over the back of Mohammad Tasby.
Aleef Hamilton takes race number 1. We are underway. Winner of race number 1. He's taking it nice and easily. Both he and Tasby, the winner of race 1, majestically got himself up into P5. Aleef goes through Inigo and Tom.
Fantastic. He's up to P2 now with his earlier pit stop. Let's talk about Ibrahim. He's been very, very quiet, but there he is. He got 5th position in race 1, and now he's up to P3 in race 2. Tasby, the second of the Team Flash cars, not looking so good in the beginning of the race. Obviously, I think pit stop helped him.
And the race double goes to Aleef Hamilton.
Now, exciting stuff from round 1, but how calm was Aleef Hamilton?
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen some emotional drivers in Season 0, but small little fist bumps, very, very humble there, very calm, cool, collected. We might have to take that crown away from Mikko Nasi, the calm, cool Finn. Now, Aleef's team, Team Flash, that orange car again, did very, very well last week. Of course, they were both in the top 3 very consistently in both races. But Alex, they're experiencing a little bit of a shake-up tonight. There's a bit of a driver change with Jason coming from Singapore, replacing Mohammed Tasby.
Well, I mean, let's talk about Team Flash for a second. You know, they're arguably the biggest esport team, or one of the biggest esport teams in the region. This is the first time in sim racing. They did it the right way. They got really top drivers. So, I mean, Tasby, who is Aleef's brother, was always going to be the reserve driver. He just had to do the first round because Jason Tay could not make the first round. He's back in the car now for round 2, so Tasby has to set aside. But you know, Jason is on paper the slightly higher ranked driver, and he will do well today, I'm sure. But Tasby's performance from round 1 will not go unnoticed. And if there's no space for him in Flash, maybe one of the other teams might take him up.
Well, that's one pair of brothers gone from the grid, but not to worry, we still have another pair of brothers, and that's, of course, Nabil Aslan and Nakib Aslan. Let's go and take a look at the highlights from the sibling rivalries that we've seen on track.
Aleef leads the way, Tasby alongside him.
Tasby, he's going to try and help his brother in the second Flash car. He is closing in on Nakib right now. This is allowing Nakib to get away at the front. This is exactly what Aleef wants. His brother helping him out.
It's Mohammed Nabil, the brother of Nakib, is the man who's got himself into P2.
Nakib, though, he's looking calm. He's 2 seconds down. It's possible to close that gap. We've seen him do that before in the past, but the reigning champion is definitely under pressure.
Now I'm going to flick this question over to Amir in our commentary box. Amir, do you think that Nakib's really under pressure from his brother Nabil, especially since he won the last season?
Not really, to be honest. I think Nakib will be experienced enough to not feel too hard up by his brother. You know, like with Michael Schumacher, Ralf Schumacher. Michael wasn't really threatened by him throughout his career, but there are flashes of brilliance from Nabil that he might have to watch out for, especially the fact that he's in a car that has about the same balance as him now because of the first round successes they had, particularly for Nakib, of course.
Now, there are a lot of new drivers on the grid, and of course that's because of the spectacular grid size on the field tonight, 28 drivers. Alex, who impressed you the most? I mean, we've got some new drivers from Hong Kong, we've got a Vietnamese team. Who stood out?
Well, I think Mohammed Ibrahim, actually, I'm going to pick out first because he finished second in race 2, and he's very new to the RaceRoom game. You know, Aleef and Tasby, we know they do RaceRoom a lot. We knew they'd be strong. So Ibrahim was very good. The Hong Kong drivers are very strong. They got some points there. Had some issues, obviously, with lag and stuff, but they had a good weekend as well. Vietnamese driver Long did a great job to finish 14th in his first race here. So he's got a big learning curve as well. The JMX Phantom guys, you know, we saw how quick they were in race 2, but also they had some issues with lag in the race 1 as well. So a lot of strong drivers who weren't quite at their potential in round 1, and they're going to keep on getting stronger and stronger. And I think we're going to see 1 or 2 of them on the podium very soon.
Well, I hope your predictions are true. A lot of these drivers will be returning with us tonight. Let's see what these fierce contenders got up to last week.
Good to see Le Hong Vin Long who's a privateer, in his first E1 championship race. Josh just goes past Whelan Choi there to move himself up into P14, which is worth 2 points. Stewart's decision. Jack Ding Chung from Hong Kong on debut has made greater moves. He's got himself up into the top 10. Fadli Rakhmat and Presley Martono. Rakhmat goes past Joaquim. Presley tries to go past as well. Tasby as well, and wow.
Presley's doing a good job. He's in the points. Presley in P11. Fadli, good job to get up to P8 though. Really good job by the JMX boys, you know, because they were nowhere in race 1.
Now, Alex, looking at the drivers returning from Season 0, we're in Season 1 now. How much pressure are they under to over-deliver from not just their results from last season, but against those new drivers that are coming?
Well, I mean, I've spoken to those drivers. They know that the new drivers coming in are going to bring the bar even higher, so they were under no illusion. But for various reasons, they all didn't quite get the results they want. But you know, it's a different race. That's a great thing about motor racing. You're only as good as your last race, but there's always another race around the corner, and that's especially true through sim racing. And you know, they'll be back stronger than ever for sure.
And our returning drivers have done very well. Even our celebrity drivers. We've got Whelan Choi bagging some points in round 1 last week. Amir, Miko did very, very well in Season 0. What do you think happened to him last round?
Basically, it's just a bit of bad luck with the try strategy, especially the fact that in race 2, where we had the pit stops, he decided to go for like a curveball strategy, shall we say, to go on the double softs, and he admitted himself later on that it didn't pay off. So he might want to recover from that and just learn from it so that he won't do the same mistake again.
And I'm sure that's a lesson learned from Miko, but only time will tell later when we get to qualifying and the 2 races. But first, let's take a look at the rivals that are returning to the grid tonight for the race.
Oh, Ben 6-2, not giving up, goes down the inside. Careful he doesn't punch her. Nice try by Ben.
Kalen Chin moves around the outside, swerving all over the circuit. We're on board here with Inigo Anton.
Yeah, he's going to try and go around the outside. Oh, nice move there, around the outside. There's contact, no contact. They give each other just enough racing room. I'm going to have one more dose of DRS, and that's just enough to put him in front.
Choi looking a little bit open-mouthed, a little bit tense there. Kalen looking very determined. Whelan Choi has got himself up into P14.
Whoa.
Just going past Alistair Young there. As Nasi goes on the inside of Nakib, and Nasi, Alex Young up to P2.
Now, some very strong names on our grid tonight, including 2 drivers that actually have a lot of experience outside of eSIM racing and in traditional motorsports, namely Kalen Chin and Inigo Anton. And they've been putting in quite a strong performance, especially in comparison to Season 0, Alex. What are your thoughts on their performances?
I know Inigo Anton was very disappointed with round 1. You know, like we saw in Season 0, he had 3 pole positions. He was not able to convert that to any race wins, although he finished second a number of times. So he'll be disappointed with that. I'm sure he'll bounce back strong for round 2. We know he's got the pace. The other one, though, Kalen Chin, you know. Kalen was so quick in race 2, round 1. I thought he was definitely going to win that race. We see that occasionally, that he has that searing pace, but not quite able to convert it to race wins. So both drivers may be lacking a little bit of experience, but when they're on form, man, do they fly.
Well, we'll find out shortly if they are indeed on form at the Hockenheimring. And before we get to the action of round 2, let's take a quick look at the standings from round 1 last week. So in the top 5, we had Mohammed Aleef Hamilton and the Stratos driver of Mohammed Ibrahim in 2nd, and that brother duo, Mohammed Thasbi in 3rd, who of course is not joining us tonight. Nakib Aslan in 4th, our Season 0 champion, and Ayman Akeem in 5th.
And then here we are. Let's have a look at the teams championships, and of course Team Flash taking a big lead there. Stratos Motorsports still there. Ayman Akeem and Mika Hackney make up RSG, and they're there in 3rd positions. ERacing GP in 4th, and Safe House in 5th. Sirigaya was participating in round 1. He's been replaced by Arwin Taruna for this round.
All right, well, that's enough of looking into the past. Let's look forward to tonight's action, where we're going to be racing at the Hockenheimring in Germany. Let's go and take a look at the championships format and some of the tracks we'll be racing at this season. And here's a look at the tracks of the season. Of course, 8 races with 8 different tracks. We're now at round 2 in Germany before heading to Watkins Glen in America next week. Some very, very tight and twisty circuits. Interesting overtaking spots that we're going to have throughout the entire season.
Okay, so this is Hockenheim. It's not a terribly difficult track to learn, but it is a bit similar to Red Bull Ring in that there are long straights, so you can overtake here. The last sector is always crucial to lap time. It's very old school. Those long corners, you need a good rhythm to the Mercedes arena and, of course, the stadium section to set a good lap time. Medium to low downforce really for this sort of track, because you do need that straight line speed to overtake. Damage is, of course, full. And, you know, we do standing starts, dry weather as per usual. And, of course, tire wears at ×4 today, guys. Tire wears going to be super high. So I think the hard tire will be the choice that most of the teams will be using today. See the little graphics there as we go around turns 15, 16, 17. It's going to be a fun track to race on.
And here is the format of the proceedings for tonight. We've got a 5-minute qualifying session that will be coming up very, very soon tonight. Determines the starting position for race 1, which is a 15-minute sprint, and race 2, which is slightly longer at 30 minutes with a reverse grid. And there is the breakdown of the points that our drivers will be accumulating. Points for qualifying and the races, but also some extra points in the races for the fastest lap. You can see there are 2 points being allocated to those drivers.
Here is the prize money. That's what the drivers are racing for. It's a $15,000 prize pool. Champion gets 5,000. That's what they'll be aiming for. And this is for the Drivers' Championship.
Now our drivers are currently practicing on track at the Hockenheimring, and we've got qualifying coming up soon just after this break. Don't forget, you can stay tuned to all the action on our Facebook pages at the E1 Championship and the EGG Network as well. Give us a like and a follow and comment, and we'll be back right after this break with qualifying.
Hello and welcome to the very first E1 Championship, coming to you live on the EGG Network.
We're running championships all throughout Asia Pacific, based from here in Malaysia. We need a premier championship with proper production, proper entry fees and prize money, and that's what E1 Championship is.
15-minute race is underway. I'm an old fella. This game isn't aimed at me, and so I tell you what, I was a real skeptic when this first started. It has to be real racing as far as I'm concerned, and you know, mucking around on simulators wasn't for me. And then I started working on it. I became convinced this isn't just simulation, this is real sport.
We had a really targeted teams. It allows people in the real life teams and the sim racing teams to compete on even footing, and they can be competitive against each other.
There's no room at this circuit. Mikko Nassi barged out of the way.
E1 Championship really levels the playing field.
We've made a great start on e-racing. We've given the drivers respect. It's an entertaining spectacle.
And despite a puncture, Naki Baslam will take P1.
Season 0, we went for maximum excitement.
So close head-to-head on different tracks.
Nakeem's coming back.
Eamon Hakeem goes on the inside. Look at the start made by Troy Iman.
Lots of overtaking.
No, he doesn't. He gives away.
And he takes 2 this time.
The level of racing was really, really high.
It's a terrific sporting competition.
We're already seen as a premier e-racing championship in the region.
Season 1 just coming. We've got more teams.
Team Flash, super big, well-known esports team in Singapore.
Our goal is definitely to try to win. Just want to give it my best.
We got Vietnam E1 team as well, which is a brand new team into sim racing.
The experience is the target for our driver in the village. I am very happy and excited to involve.
Black Arts Racing, that is a real-life motorsports team.
I'm really looking forward to the season. There's a lot of good tracks in the season for us to do, so it's going to be really exciting.
JMX Phantom as well, which is from Indonesia.
We're all looking forward to that challenge to see how we can cope with the best teams in Asia.
But we also have some of the same drivers.
I am happy to be back in Season 1.
Hopefully me and our team finish stronger and higher.
Just gonna focus on ourselves. I'll definitely be doing things a lot more differently. I would set an expectation of the top 5 right now.
Really looking forward to basically being on track with the competitors again.
Don't expect me to slow down.
You can have 5, 6, even 7 genuine contenders going into round 8.
New levels of competition.
We're going to have a joker round where we don't tell the drivers what the format is going to be until the driver's briefing on the day.
Even more new tracks on this 8-race calendar.
We're going to go to a bit more tighter and twistier tracks. Zandvoort, Watkins Glen.
It's going to be great to see how the drivers tackle these new tracks on the calendar.
I just hope I don't spin it, I don't crash into anyone.
I will work for a better result.
I really want to win it.
Catch me if you can.
Hopefully we put on a good show.
This is going to be much more competitive than Season 0.
And I'm really excited to see who's going to come out on top.
This is just the beginning. It's going to get better and better.
E1 Championship Season 1 gets underway.
Hey guys, welcome back to Season 1 of the E1 Championship. Don't forget to follow all of the action live, not just here, but on our Facebook pages as well, at the E1 Championship and on the EGG Network. Now, qualifying is going to be starting very soon, but before we do, let's take a look at the driver lineup that's going to be joining us for the racing tonight. All right, first up on the grid, we have returning champion Stratos Motorsports with Nakib Aslan and Mohammad Ibrahim next to him. A very strong duo, but can Nakib Aslan put it together in round 2?
Okay, next up, Safe House finished third in the team's championship in Season 0. Arwin Taruna replaces Sirajaya from Thailand, and he's going to be a dark horse. Multiple race winner in ERGP, and of course he's teamed with the fast and reliable Mikonas.
And the blue cars of Team RSG, very consistent as point finishers in the last season. We're going to see if they can continue that in round 2 and onwards with Ayman Hakim and Mika Hakimi.
Okay, then we have Scuderia Stratos, the sister team of Stratos Motorsports, and 2 young chargers, Troy Ayman and of course Arif Azmi, and they're both Malaysian.
And next we have the Filipino team of GT Radio Eurasia with the fast Filipinos, Inigo Anton, of course bearing that legendary racing name from the Philippines. Alongside him, Joaquin Garrido in car number 10.
And then we have Black Wolf Racing, Kalen Chin, who we talked about earlier, the fast Australian, who's based in Singapore. And of course, he's partnered with Daniel Uy, one of the more experienced drivers in our grid.
And then we have I1 Racing Team changing things up with this nice blue-colored car. Benjamin Seek, you may notice from last season, wearing the Mario Kart outfits, maybe not this season. And alongside him, Lance Lau, also from Brunei.
And then we have the Indonesian team, JMX Phantom, a top esports team. Really good drivers and a very professional team. Percy Martona, who is a real-life driver, and of course Fadli Rahman, who has also been super quick.
And the legendary Black Hearts Racing Team, a real-life motorsports team making a venture into sim racing with Josh Perwin from Australia and Alistair Young all the way from Malaysia.
And then we have the Hong Kong team, Zed Challenger, Jack Ting Chun, who's a real superstar, especially on the racial game, and he'll be strong. And Jay Young, who we saw in round 1, who is also very quick indeed. This is a team that's going to be at the front very soon.
And Aleef Hamilton. Hamilton, of course, that name helping him get to the front of Team Flash, winning the doubleheader last week. Can he repeat that tonight? Alongside him, a new teammate, Jason Tay.
And then we have the Vietnamese team, Saigon United Motorsports E1 Vietnam team. It's a bit of a mouthful, but they had really good performance. Long up there in car number 31, scored points in race 1. Of course, Hui in car number 32.
And as ever, it's our celebrity drivers. Whelan Choi, that face always present at the track at Sepang in Malaysia. And alongside him, Drift Queen Leona Chin. How are they going to do this season?
And then these are the drivers that qualify from the ERacing GP weekly leaderboard. Mohammad Nabil, the brother of Nakib, again qualified. And of course, Ayman Hazik, who has raced with us before, he's super quick as well. Just recently back from Japan.
And there we have it. That's 28 of the drivers joining us on the grid. 11 countries being represented. It's exciting to see what they're going to get up to this season. With practice underway on screen now, it's over to Alex and Amo in the commentary box.
Yes, thank you, Daniel, and welcome to the track. Welcome to Baden-Württemberg in Hockenheimring, here for round 2 of Season 1. And we're looking forward to this one because Hockenheim has produced such great racing in Formula 1 real life, at least over the past few years, and especially notably that 2019 German Grand Prix in the wet, Alex, and that was quite an exciting race, wasn't it? We hope for the same thing, albeit in dry conditions.
Yeah, I mean, it is, I think I like Hockenheim. I mean, I'm not a personal huge fan of Hockenheim. I prefer the old Hockenheim, but this is the new Hockenheim. But it always does really great, exciting racing, especially DTM, GT3 cars, Masters, all that sort of racing. And we've seen it in ERacing GP, and I think we're going to get the same thing today in E1 Championship. It should be very good.
And the fuel and tire wear that we've chosen for this round is ×3 fuel and ×4 tire wear. Yep. Will that throw a spanner into the works for everybody's strategies?
It is. So it's really going to be the teams who prepared the most, who know about the different tires and fuel. So yeah, ×4 is going to be very high tire consumption. ×3 fuel means also they're going to have to maybe put fuel when they do the pit stops. 15-minute race, they're just about going to do a 15-minute race without having to do a pit stop. But for the 30-minute race too, definitely going to be an issue. We might see quite a few of these drivers trying to do a 2-stop strategy to be at the front.
I remember Miko did the 2-stop, 3-stop even last time because he tried to actually use 2 soft tires. Yeah. That didn't work out in the end. He might actually be vindicated for this one if the ×4 tire wear actually causes a high tire degradation.
Yeah, so so I'm not really sure how I'm going to call it. I mean, Hockenheim's not too tough on tire wear, but I think we will see some different strategies. One of the cool things about RaceRoom with this FX17 Formula 1-esque car is that they have got engine maps now. So the teams and drivers are playing around with the engine maps. You know, obviously the more powerful engine map consumes fuel a lot more. So with fuel at ×3, that means that the consumption is at ×3 the normal's time. Maybe they'll be playing around with the engine maps to try and maybe sacrifice some power to allow them to go further with the fuel.
Absolutely. And the fact that that was a recent feature that was put in RaceRoom, that will definitely be on the drivers' minds come into the race in time. Qualifying, of course, they're going to whack it up to full power, you know, the party mode, as Mercedes would say it. So they're going to not worry about that. During the race especially, it's going to be an absolute critical that they will use that accordingly.
Yeah. So let's just have a look at Mohammed Ibrahim. He's second in the championship right now. He's a rookie, and rookie to RaceRoom as well. So that's what made his result in round 1 so impressive. He was the quickest in free practice. He's just sitting there in the pit lane. The teams are just sorting out they're going to be changing tires, putting the last minute changes on setup, and putting on the soft tires on, putting low fuel to do these qualifying runs. So Ibrahim was the quickest. He did a 1 minute 12.8. But I've heard on the grapevine that they might even be getting down to the low 12s today. And that's really quick, because a 12.8, if you go to the RaceRoom worldwide leaderboard, no one has done that. So these guys are going quicker than anyone else has gone worldwide already. So that's going to be very interesting to see how quick they're going to go. Let's see if Ibrahim can continue to go and show some speed.
They're going to be even faster than the actual Formula 1 lap times around Hockenheimring with going this rate. So that'll be interesting to see. Now that we've come to the end of practice, we're waiting now for the actual qualifying session to start. We're waiting for it to jump over. So Ibrahim is the fastest by only about under the cusp of a 10th ahead of Mikko Nassi. So the two drivers that actually had different contrasting fortunes in the first round. Ibrahim stormed his way to go into a podium in the second race, but Mikko had a mixed one, as we mentioned earlier. He actually had that double pit stop towards the end that actually put a dampener to what could have been a good result. So that will be the thing to point out. That will be, we might say that Ibrahim will be the dark horse, but do you think Nassi will still be the favorite?
Well, I mean, we got the usual suspects from last year, Nakib, Mikko Nassi, Ayman, they'll be up there. But the big question is, you know, I mean, Mohammed Aleef just did such a great job in race 1, in round 1, where he won both the races. So that's what everyone's going to be looking at. That's going to be the standard. And just excuse our pause while we wait for qualifying to start. That will start in a moment. But yeah, Aleef is going to be very strong indeed. That's going to be the big question. Can anyone find the time? Don't forget, though, now he has got some success ballast. One of the rules to try and always keep things mixed up in this championship is when you win, you have to carry some success ballast. In fact, the top 10 from the previous round carries a little bit of success ballast. You don't carry this ballast on, and it resets after each round. So Aleef has quite a bit of weight on, but as we saw in Season 0, even with that success ballast, you still saw those drivers winning the next weekend. So it's just a tiny, small amount that makes it quite interesting.
Okay, now then. So qualifying, and we are hearing is here, and there we go. We're watching on screen right now, which is not Mohammed Ibrahim. It was actually one of the RSG cars. I think that was Ayman because Mika's car has a green hammer on it, but nonetheless, we're now going here for on-board run. Alex, will you take through with Jackton?
Yes, let's go. We're with Jackton Chung. We saw he was really quick in practice. Well, I think he was the second quickest in practice. So, you know, he's a real superstar on touring cars. He always wins regional races in touring cars, but he's not so hot on the Formula 1 car. There he is, purple in Sector 1. So he's gone quickest of all in Sector 1. I was just saying he's new to these Formula 1 cars, but wow, he's going purple in Sector 1. So this looks like a very good lap already. Look nice and tidy. Now we're going to the hairpin, turn 6. Doesn't matter that he misses the apex. It's better to brake late and get on the power early. And if you miss the apex of that corner, it doesn't really cost you time. Now to the flat out turn 7. Don't lift at all for there. Then turn 8. Turn 8, this left-handed, very easy to get wrong actually. Looks very simple, but it's a little bit of a tricky corner. I think you're flat through turns 9 and 10. You should be at least. And then the short straight before he comes into the stadium section. The old part of the circuit that hasn't changed for decades and decades. Now the banked turn 3 to 12 here, Sachs curve. Just carries the speed nice. He's looking really neat at this point. He's purple in Sector 2 as well. So Amon, this looks like a really good lap. Might not be his flat-out lap. This could just be a banker lap, but it looks like he's right on the limit at the moment. Someone is going quickest. Martono's gone quickest. Yeah, that's a good lap from Jaktim there. But Martono's gone really good quick, so we'll just ride on with Martono. Let's see if we can see him right now.
And the first guy to break into the 1 minute 12s, and the other guy, no surprises, is actually Mohammed Aleef. So Aleef Hamilton, we are predicting to be a force in the championship, is now trying to start another lap. In fact, here's pressing Martono on screen. And the car is actually same color as him, orange colored cars. We might confuse them when they're in front of the grid. But only a 10th in between them. This is going to be one to watch between the two.
Yeah, so let's watch Presley at the moment. He's in the JMX car, and he's gone fastest in Sector 1, I think. He's in the JMX car, which is very similar to the Team Flash car because they're both orange. But Presley is a real-world driver. He was stunning in Formula 4, he's stunning in Formula BMW, actually, and in karts. He won in karts in Europe as well. So one of the top karters when he was coming up to the ranks. He's 21 now. He just converted to sim racing last year, and he's showing he's lost none of his talent. And this is really cool to see him at the top. It's the first time we've seen him at the top of the leaderboard. So really good job by Presley. Let's see if he can improve on that time. We'll have to go back to Aleef as well, because I want to see what sort of lap time Aleef is doing. But Presley's definitely improving. Look, here we go through Sector 2, and he's purple through Sector 2 again. Just about a 10th up on his lap from before, but this is perfect for him. If he can just get this last couple corners right, that looks just about right. Carries some good speed through Sachs there. Now, EasyFact got to use all the curb on the exit here. Does it early on the power through the last corner, and that's a good last corner. That should be a small improvement, and it is. But let's go to see what Aleef is doing. Let's see if he's improving. Aleef is now coming through the last corner now. Let's see if will this be good enough to snatch pole? Don't forget he's carrying 15 kilos of ballast.
No, this time.
No, not able to do it. Let's see who else we can look at. Let's look at Josh Perwin. Josh Perwin has gone, he's on another lap as well.
Whoa.
And he's 2/10 off at the moment. Kalen Chin.
2000s.
Kalen Chin has just done, he's just gone second quickest as well. It's so close, guys. The top 10 are covered by half a second. That is how close it is right now. Let's see who else is up there. Naqib Aslan. Let's ride on board with him. This man did not have a good round one. He's going to be hurting after round one. He's our championship winner from season 0. Let's see if he can improve. We don't know what his Sector 1 was, but he's halfway through Sector 2 now. Let's ride on board right now. Look how focused Naqib is. Let's see if he can bounce back. If he wants to try and make an impact, he has to try and grab pole position. He'll need those 5 points. Qualifying is important. You get 5 points for pole position. That's what makes it so valuable. Looking good through there. The hairpin, I don't think he carried, it didn't look as good as it could do. But this bit here right now is looking quite good through, let's ride on board with him actually, see what it looks from his point of view. Purple in Sector 2. So he's up right now. Now he comes to the Sachs curve. We're in the last sector right now. Wow. Ammo, this could be good enough for pole position. He needs to be perfect through these last couple corners though.
Yeah, the fact that that second sector, coming out to the second sector through the hairpin, it didn't look good enough, but now coming through the final corner, let's see if he does, as he comes across the line now, and it is not an improved pole position, at least his improvement is 7th. So Aleef then scores more points on him in the championship. It's going to be pole position for Presley Martono. A surprise there, we didn't expect him to be on pole.
Wow, so that's a really good job by Presley Martono. Awesome job to see the Indonesians up there. What a great job by Martono. You know, we talk about the real-life drivers, we talk about the sim drivers. You know, we always see the sim drivers. We know how quick the sim drivers are. The real-life drivers coming to the sim world, they've been struggling a little bit, and this is the first time in E1 we're seeing one of the real-life drivers match and beat the sim drivers. So that's quite exciting in itself.
Yeah, indeed. And the fact that that's just qualifying, still, it's quite impressive nonetheless that Presley managed to put one lap together, and he managed to actually get it on pole. Now we're going to have to talk to Presley if we can get him on.
Yeah, let's try and talk with Presley right now. See if we can get him on board. Presley, can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes, that was a
great lap. 2 great laps by you, Presley. How did it feel for you?
Yeah, it was a bit tricky. The nerves was quite high for qualifying, but I'm just really happy I could get a lap out. Of course, it's never going to be perfect, but happy that I got the pole.
Round 1, it's great to see you on pole position, obviously. We're thrilled to see it. But what's been the difference between round 1 and round 2?
I think we were, you know, as a team, we're starting to understand the car a bit more now, starting to understand the driving style, which it does take time because we are new in RaceRoom. So, you know, happy to see that our hard work is paying off, but I'm sure that, you know, everyone's going to be quite fast during the race. So let's just see how it goes.
Well, okay, I won't take up any more of your time because you got to get ready for race 1, but just wanted to say congratulations and good luck for the rest of the race.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, and the fact that he sounded a bit low beat about it despite actually being on pole. Maybe it's just the sigh of relief that he doesn't want to be too excited because he knows that the job's not done yet. It's one thing to qualify to put it on pole to get the 5 points. Yeah. There's also another to actually get the 25 and another 4 for the actual race. So that's what he will be, of course, aiming to do.
Absolutely right. He's totally focused on race 1 because that's where most of the points are at. Yeah.
And indeed, the fact that, speaking of race, pole position and the races, last week with Aleef, it was the very first time we've had a Grand Slam of number ones on the leaderboard. First in qualifying, first in race 1 and first in race 2. Albeit he didn't get the fastest lap with both of it, otherwise it would have been a whole smattering of points for him. But nonetheless, Percy might be aiming to do that as well.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, let's talk a little bit about setups right now. So the setups for the race, here we are at Hockenheimring. It's a low downforce track because of those long straights, and you know, you want to be quick down them, so the gearing will be a bit higher to carry that speed. Especially, don't forget, these cars have DRS, so you don't want to be stuck with a low gearing, because once that DRS opens, you might be on the rev limiter, so they will make the gearing a bit higher. Stable balance is very important. They do tend to run a stiffer platform in Hockenheim, especially for the mediums, the last sector of the lap, to try and carry the speed through those long corners.
And indeed, and the fact that compared to the Red Bull Ring last time, where it was more aero dependent because you need to have low downforce to get through the fast straights. In this one, it's just a bit of a compromise, isn't it? You can have the fast straights and the fact that you need to have better aerodynamics for the corners. It's kind of like opposite to how Hockenheim was back in the day, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Hockenheim back in the day was very... I mean, I'm very lucky to have raced at that track. It was really, really exciting to race at. We won't go down that road, though, right now. But still, we're talking about Hockenheim today. And so... we can see though that it does swing around a bit, you know. We can see the Stratus Motorsports cars were strong, Flash was strong in round 1, but it looks like JMX Phantom have found a setup that's got them in pole position. Let's look at Black Wolf as well. You know, Kalen Chin in P2. I think that's his best qualifying result. I don't think he's never had pole position E1, but I think I've seen him in the top 3 before. But still, second right now, you know, so Black Wolf obviously nailed the setup. So it kind of swings around about a bit at the moment as they all trying to understand how to get the most out of the car. So the teams do play a vital role. They need to get the setups right. And I know that some of the teams I was talking to, the setup for the Red Bull Ring, even though they're kind of similar-ish Tilka sort of tracks in a way, big modern Formula 1 tracks, the setups didn't work. The setups from Red Bull Ring did not work here at Hockenheim, so they were still trying to figure that out.
Indeed, and the fact that they will probably still be figuring it out once they get into the second race, because also the fact that they had to take into account that some of those aero setups might affect the tire wear.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and that's right. So some of them might be, you know, so some of them might be thinking about the tire wear. Maybe they're working the race setups a bit more. They might be stronger in the race. Maybe their qualifying setup isn't going to be good. So hopefully they'll be stronger in the race.
Right, and we're gonna watch out here because we're about 30 seconds left in the warm-up, so we still got a bit more time to talk about the. Can we see the? We can see the qualified warm-up. Yes, there we are.
Yeah.
So
there's Inigo Anton. He's out on track. I can't remember where he qualified, but he was in the top 6, I believe. We know he's such a good qualifier. But he needs to try and convert those race performances. He's finished second a number of times, but you just feel sometimes his inexperience gets him down a bit. Be good to see if he can try and get into the top 3. Let's look a bit further down. Hui is out there right now, one of the Vietnamese drivers. Really, you can see, I think he's one of the slightly bit more less experienced drivers on the E1. But yeah, it's great to see them there. Maybe he can score his first points. Another driver I just want to touch on a little bit is Arwen Taruna. He's still out on track right now. He's replacing Surigaya in Safe House. He did not get much time to prepare for this weekend because it was a last-minute replacement, but we know he's super quick.
Now, overtaking is going to be a very interesting one for me in race 1. Now, we've got, if you remember the track map from earlier on in the show, there's a really, really long straight. So Prezi Martona put in that fast lap for pole, but he's really going to want to be getting out of that DRS zone as quickly as he can in the early laps of the race, which we're going to be preparing for right now. You can see the cars teleporting onto the grid. So I'm going to go and hand it over back to Alex and Amo to take you through race 1.
Right, and 30 seconds left to go. Less than just half a minute for these drivers to actually go up for the second round, race number 1 of season 1 of the E1 Championship, and it's going to be butterflies in the stomachs for these drivers, don't you think, Alex?
Yeah, you know, even President Martona, a very experienced racer, said he was nervous. So I wonder if he's getting the leg shakes. I remember when I first did a sim race, I got the leg shakes.
My first real car race had a lot of leg shakes.
Right then. 5 red lights on the gantry then, and when they go out, race 1 of round 2 in the E1 Championship for Season 1 will get underway right about now, and it's a good start there from Josh Bowen. Bowen gets the jump on Prezi Martona. Martona didn't get the jump that he wanted, and Kalen has actually come through as well. So Kalen Chin actually has taken the whole shot into the lead. Come through turn 1 and come out to turn 2 now. Cars fan out, trying to jump for position. Perwin and Martono touched a bit, but it's Kalen Chin with an absolutely barnstorming start to take the lead here at Hockenheim.
Yeah, now they're coming down the back straight. They're looking very good indeed. Let's see how they're all going as they come down the long straight. Muhammad Aleef there is in 4th position, so there are a lot of cars jostling for position. Ooh, Inigo touches Presley Martono at the hairpin, and Aleef goes through.
Wow, surprisingly, they managed to make it out there, but unfortunately for Inigo, he's the biggest loser out of that. He has actually lost quite a few positions as his teammate has a slowdown penalty for using the track limits, so they have to watch out for that as well, because Hockenheim, due to the amount of runoff areas that they have nowadays compared to the old days where there was gravel traffic. Someone spins off the barrier. Looks like Alwin Taruna's in the barriers. So the safe house driver deputizing for Natalia Serigaya hasn't had a good first race. He's off, and he's going to be sent all the way to the back grid. There he is now. He might have been hit by somebody because it was an absolutely big collision. And in fact, that's it. I think that was one of the ERacing cars also in the gravel. It's Joaquin Garrido. So it's all kicked off here in the 3rd sector as the first lap is finished. Kalen Chin leads here at Hockenheim.
Great to see. This is a battle of the Aussies. Kalen Chin from Australia. He's based in Singapore. He's half Singaporean as well, and he's doing a great job. We saw how quick he was in round 1, and he's showing us that speed again. Can he go on to win his first E1 race? That's a big thing. But we have to go back to Josh Perwin as well, because Josh is also from Australia. He's from Perth, Australia. You know, he's got big pressure from Muhammad Aleef. He's just right behind. You can see. Just look at that. He's got the DRS, both these drivers. DRS. Oh, and Presley comes down the inside and has contact with Aleef. But who gets the best exit out of there? They're just jostling for position out of here. Here we are right now with Aleef, and he's got Presley on the side by side with him. And somehow, yep, they're still side by side as they go through turns, 8 and 9.
Through the Mercedes-Benz Arena and into the 3rd sector. And Martono there with a big boy dive. He definitely had the DRS behind him, trying to overtake Aleef, but Aleef was very aware of it. Just held the outside line long enough to prevent Martono to get a dive on the inside, and Martono has to plan it out again. And all the while that they're battling, Josh Perwin also actually had a bit of a slight mistake. That actually allowed him to come in closer. Look at that. The amount of opposite lot coming to the final corner. Martono there is hanging on the edge. And through all of that, Kalen is actually pulling away.
Wow, he's really pushing, isn't he? Martono has to watch the incident points because he's had a few contacts with a few drivers already. And there's only 40 incident points, so he has to watch out for that. But he's within DRS range. Oh, and Aleef has a small mistake at the hairpin. This Martono's going to really come at him. Yeah, small mistake by the Singaporean, the championship leader, and Martono. Look, they both got DRS. They're both closing in on the red and black car of Josh Perwin. But wow, Martono's got running so much downforce. He just cannot get close to Aleef down the straight. So different strategies here. The JMX Phantom car is running a lot more downforce, a bit more draggy, but it's faster in the corners, whereas Aleef Hamilton in the Team Flash car is running very light on downforce indeed.
And the fact that Josh just now nearly ran it wide as well, that actually nearly put them both in the right in the holding pattern of that one. But yeah, it seems to me that somehow Martono, even with the high downforce setup, managed to actually grab pole out of all of that. Maybe it was by virtue of having maybe a different race and qualifying setup, so he's aiming for more downforce in the race to actually preserve those tires. In fact, we're running with ×4 tire wear, so that might be the key for him right now to actually try to win this race. But that start may be coming back to haunt him. He might not have enough time to actually overtake all of them.
Yeah, we're riding on board Josh Perwin. You can see the two orange cars of Muhammad Aleef and Presley Martono. Let's look behind them. In 5th position, Jason Tay is also having a good race. The teammate of Muhammad Aleef, he's now in P5. And let's see where Jason can get a good exit out of this, because we know the Team Flash cars are light on downforce. Oh, it looks like Aleef has got past Josh Perwin in P2 as well. And look at them, they're jostling for position right now. But the JMX Phantom car ahead of Jason Tay here is so heavy on downforce. Look, he's just getting eaten up down the straights. Oh, and Jason Tay, almost survives somehow and stays in 4th position.
And he had to give that position back, I think, because he knew for a fact that he tried that big boy dive again through the hairpin. Just can make it work. Slight touch in front of him with Josh. But in fact, a little bit of a slight touch there with Martono coming into the Mercedes-Benz arena. Yeah. All the while they're actually reeling in the rest of the field. In fact, we're looking at Nakib Aslan, who's actually the current holder of the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, Nakib there P6 right now. He's just watching these guys. I wonder if he's just looking after the tyre wear so he can have a bit more to attack with towards the end. Everyone is on the hard tyres except for Presley Martono. Presley Martono is on the soft tyre, so he will be having to pit. So Presley there, oh look, he's sliding through that track. Yeah, there he is, he's going in for his pit stop. So Presley in the soft tire, he decided, I think he gambled on this ammo. He decided to go with the soft tire. He probably wanted to run away at the front, do a pit stop, and then try and win from that. But it didn't work out from his poor start, meant he was stuck in traffic, and he's now pitting, and he's going to put him right back down at the back in the middle of the field.
Oh, such a shame there. The fact that with that pole position that he worked so hard for, gone to begging in the race, he might be kicking himself for that one, but at least he's got points on the board for this particular round that he will take coming into the next race also, because he's going to come out soon after this. Meanwhile, we're going back to the battle at the front. AR Muhammad Aleef in second place, surviving the onslaught initially from Martono, and has overtaken Josh Bowen. Now sets its sights on Kalen Chin. And these two have had so many battles in ERGP over the season that we had last year. They'd probably be thinking like, oh god, it's again. And it's of all places in DTM, because they've had a ding-dong battle last time when they were in ERGP, now albeit in Formula 1 cars.
Yeah, so there is Aleef showing his class. He's going to be coming down. I think he's actually closing the gap to Kalen Chin right now. You can see we're right on board with Aleef. Yeah, there's Kalen in the distance right now. Is he within a second as he crosses the line? No, he's just outside a second, so he won't have DRS. That could play into Josh Bowen's hand, who is within a second of Aleef, and he will have DRS at the next lap. A little bit further back, Jason Tay there in P4, and Mohammed Nakib there in 5th position. Mika Hakimi, there he is in 6th position right now, and he's doing a good job with the first of the RSG cars, and right behind him, Inigo Anton in P7 there. So Mika has overtaken Inigo Anton. Just behind them, we've got the second JMX car of Fadli Rahmat, and Arif Asmi just behind them as well. And rounding out the top 10, Ayman Akin in the second RSG car. So he's not having a good race one. I expect him to be further up, to be honest.
He's actually having an actual shock. In fact, even in practice and qualifying, he wasn't there at all. He was just right there or thereabout in the top 10. Maybe the ballast is actually affecting him in a way in this particular race, or maybe the setup, they haven't got it right. But whatever it is, he's not actually bringing the bread for this one. He might have to focus on second race, because if he positions where he is right now, he will be right at the sharp end and probably can actually dictate the strategy from there. So then, we are now about halfway through the race. In fact, coming through the Sachs curve goes Kalen Chin. It'll be exactly halfway through the race and half the race left to go. So as the once late great Murray Walker once said about F1 racing. Now then, we're about halfway through. He's coming through the final corner now, and that's just under a second between himself and Muhammad Aleef. In fact, he gets a slowdown warning here for cutting through the corner there, so he's actually really pushing hard right now. He knows Aleef is actually catching. In fact, Josh Bowen as well, further behind, goes white, and Martono goes through. Jason Tay goes through.
Wow, so this is the battle we have to watch. Kalen Chin he's just getting a little bit ragged right now. He'll have that slowdown penalty, that's good, and he's got the DRS. So Aleef is within DRS range as well. So these boys are going to be fighting out for the win very soon right now. Let's see if Kalen, he's going to have to take that slowdown penalty now, and that's allowing Aleef to close right up. And so this race is not over and done, isn't it? It's going to be very close between these two. We'll come back to that battle in a second, but just behind, Jason Tay has gone up to 3rd place. So the second team flash car doing a great job to get right up there with Nakib. Nakib, as Aslan has got up to P4, so good job by the Malaysian up to P4. And Josh Perman just struggling a bit there in P5. So he's struggling a little bit at the moment. Had good pace in the Black Arts car, but just falling down the order a little bit.
Yeah, he got nicked there at the start of the first corner there through turn 1 on lap 7. And it's unfortunate for him, he actually got nicked completely by the two of them. Now he has to actually look behind his mirrors. He looks totally focused now, but unfortunately, at least he has to actually conserve tires. He's going to have to not rest for too long here. He's got his good pal Mika Hakimi behind him.
Yeah, nice train of cars, DRS train as we like to call them. But let's go back to the guys at the front, because this is where it's getting a bit close. Kalen is still, he's not being able to pull out. Aleef is within half a second of Kalen, so he's going to have the DRS. Just right on board with Aleef Hamilton. You can see the DRS is open right now. You can see it flashing in the bottom left, and he's just closing the gap to Kalen Chin. Kalen is looking heavy on downforce. No, but Kalen holds it. He doesn't bother defending. He knows he's got enough of a gap. That's smart driving by the Australian. He looks calm. He's looking in the rearview mirror. You can see Kalen Chin at the bottom left. He's looking in the rearview mirror. He knows Aleef is there. But Kalen has to have faith in his ability right now. He's shown good pace. I think Aleef has closed the gap, but he's closed the gap because of the DRS. I think if Kalen can just stay mistake-free, maybe there's a chance the young 14-year-old can stay out in front for the win.
And if fact that prior to the start of the broadcast, you did mention about the dirty air being quite severe on these cars. Would that play a part in actually preventing Aleef from overtaking Kalen? And even with the DRS, it might not still be enough. Kalen would just manage to hold the gap in front.
Yeah, I think a little bit, but we've already seen how Aleef was able to use the DRS to great advantage to overtake the other cars and leave them behind. So I don't think it's too bad. Turn 1 here, you'll have a bit of dirty air, but it doesn't look too bad. Looks like Aleef can follow. He's 410 speed down on Kalen. He's going to get a big DRS. Kalen needs to get a good exit out of here. But Aleef again with another good exit. The Singaporean, look, he's closer this lap, isn't he?
In fact, he's much closer. Last time it was about 5 tenths. Now it's 4 tenths. Look at that. The cars are getting closer and closer into the hairpin. Aleef goes onto the inside. Kalen on the outside. Does Aleef have the line? Yes, he does. But Kalen on the switchback gets back at him and he retakes the lead. Aleef might actually have the DRS this time, but unfortunately then Kalen has the better run out, and now he's going to defend it through the Mercedes-Benz arena. Great driving from both of them. Kalen then holding on for dear life here. His tires, no, he's actually slipped it. Aleef will now go for it. He takes the lead for the first time in this race.
Wow, a rueful smile by Kalen Chin. He just made a mistake through that left-hander, didn't he? Maybe he had a slow down penalty. No, I don't think he had a slow down penalty. Just made a mistake, and that allowed Aleef to come through. Now, can Aleef break the gap? Can he disappear? Or on the opposite side, can Kalen hang on? Oh, Kalen makes a mistake. He runs wide again. Oh, another mistake by the Australian.
And mercifully for him, it's not in the wet conditions. Remember that 2019 German Grand Prix caught out 3 drivers, notably Hockenheimring, Leclerc, and Hamilton, because that drag strip is actually quite slippery. Luckily in the race room, that particular patch of asphalt is not that slippery. He can hold on to it, but it actually will cost him time because there is a sausage curb at the end of that, and he has lost massive amount of time. Look at that, a second between him and Aleef now.
Yeah, Kalen's made a mistake. That was a poor mistake at that penultimate corner because that put him outside of a second. He does not have DRS, and he's not able to close the gap. And guess what? He's under pressure from the car behind, which is Naqib Aslan. Look at that, the green Stratos car. Naqib is right on the back of Kalen Chin. And he's going to have DRS the next lap as well. So Naqib, he was very quiet in the early laps. Where's he coming from? Because he's suddenly starting to show a lot of pace.
Yeah. In fact, the fact that maybe the anonymity is actually helpful for him because we're not really going to be focusing on how well he's going to progress through the grid. But, jokes aside, that's actually a good recovery. That top 10 start for him, the bottom of the top 10, may actually have been beneficial because he could actually conserve back his tires and not attack too much. Now towards the end of the race, he's actually had enough tire life in it to actually attack at least for second right now. We know that Aleef at the front would not be caught. So for Naqib, this is actually good recovery in the context of the championship so far.
Wow, look at there he goes. There's Aleef there just going through turn 1. But look how close Naqib. He just seems to have no issues with dirty air right now. And he's really right on the back of him. He's coming down, breaking down here for this corner. Ooh, I think that was Leona Chin that just spun in sympathy. He was watching me trying to get out of the way. Now look at this. Naqib's got the DRS. He's using the DRS. Can he use his DRS to catch up to Aleef Hamilton as well in P1? Look at that, he's closing the gap to the leader as well.
Yep, and Kalen's not putting up that much of a fight because he knows that his tires are completely shot. He tries his best to get back at Naqib there, but unfortunately nothing doing for him. He's going to have to hold on for 3rd place. It will still be the best finish of the season so far for him, but he'll have to wait for another race to actually claim that elusive win that has escaped him so far.
So this is the question now. We got 2 laps to go, and my big question is, how far away is Naqib from Aleef? Because if Naqib can find a bit more time, he'll be within a second, and he might be challenging for the race win.
Oh yeah, you know what? Because we have 1 more lap to go, and it's actually not that far. In fact, it's under a second now, coming through the Sachs curve and into the Soot curve for the final time for this race. Actually, for the penultimate time, as we come right around the next lap, it will be the final lap of the race. And in fact, he is within that second. He's got the DRS for this one. This race is still not over yet. It's going to be a barnstorming finish to the end. Who's going to take it? Is it Aleef or is it Naqib? And Naqib then has the advantage of the DRS, so it's going to be very tight, nip and tuck here in the final few corners that remain.
Wow, and look how focused they both are. They look so focused right now. And you're right, Naqib has got the DRS. Look, he's coming down. He's closing the gap right now. Wow, this is going to be too close to call. It does come down for the hairpin. Will he be able to come down the outside? Look, Aleef covers the inside. Ooh, contact between the 2 of them.
Ooh, and they're still touching. In fact, the front wing of Naqib touches the rear tire of Muhammad Aleef. Luckily, Aleef got away with that one because it would have easily been a puncture for him, because we saw that last time out when Nabil hit the side of Naqib. And in fact, here is Kalen was hit by Nabil last time out. He had got a puncture. Kaylin's now coming back at Naqib Aslan. Naqib held on to that quite well through the Mercedes-Benz arena, and looks as though the top three then will stay where they are, including the fact that Jason Tay is just in there in fourth. But Muhammad Aleef, through sheer perseverance and luck, manages to hold on to the lead all the way to the end. Fake goes through the back marker. We'll enjoy. That cost them a bit. Now Naqib's actually right back at him. It's going to be a close finish. The top four within a second of each other. This is going to be one of the closest finish in E1. But it's Aleef who takes victory here in Hockenheim. Look at the sheer relief on his face. And Naqib then, well, looks a bit disconsolate, but I think he'll be happy with the second position, despite the fact that he didn't qualify well.
Wow, so that's a great recovery drive by Naqib, but wow, that's 3 races on a trot for Aleef Hamilton. Muhammad Aleef, what a great driver, the Team Flash driver, showing that he is the class of the field. What a result for him.
Now, I just want to point out the racing lines. People watching are going to be asking what happened to Kaylin Chin, and it was purely down to his racing line. His exit out of turn 8 was just too tight, and then you saw Aleef Hamilton just drive out with that wider exit on the throttle a little bit earlier and just got around him, just literally drove around him.
Yeah.
But up next, we have an interview with Aleef Hamilton.
Yeah. So, I'll ask the first question,
Yeah,
shall I?
you go ahead,
Aleef,
Alex.
can you hear me, Aleef? What
Yeah,
a
I can
great
hear you.
result. Was that as
Yeah, man.
controlled as it looked? Was it in the bag all the way, or were you panicking?
Now me and Jason, we were, I think, just taking care of the rear tires really from exploding. So towards the end, I was just managing my pace. But then Naqib caught up really, really quickly in the last lap. So that was a bit of a scare, but it was fun, good fun.
Okay, well, that's a great result. We're actually spinning the wheel right now to see what the reverse grid is going to be. And I can tell you it's going to be top 12. So, Aleef, that means you're going to start in 12th position for race 2. What's that? How's, I mean, you've won 3 races on trot right now. You must fancy your chances of winning race 4, a 4th race now.
I mean, that's not in my mind. The result is not in my mind right now. I'm just trying to just do a good job every lap, stay in the present. And just try to bring home a good result for the team because, as you said, 3 races in a row. But there's still, I don't know how many more races in the season, so we can't just rest on our laurels.
Okay. well done, Aleef. I know you'll be focusing on race 2 now. Good luck for that.
So then we are looking at the results for race 1. Aleef with the slimmest of victories, we can safely say, ahead of Naqib Aslan. Kaylin Chin and Jason Tay watching brief in 3rd and 4th, the closest top 4 we've ever had in the championship so far. 5th is Mika Hakimi, who is quite anonymous so far, but he's done an absolutely brilliant job coming back from a disappointing round 1. Then it's Ibrahim, Nabil, Presi Martono, who dropped all the way to 8th, and that will be the top 8 for that one. We're going to move to race 2 after this. It was quite an exciting race, but we can't wait for race 2. It's going to be even better with the strategies.
All right, let's go back to you, Daniel.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Amo. What an unexpected race 1 here at the Hockenheimring. It's a very similar track layout to Red Bull Ring, as we've mentioned in the pre-show, but the results are still all over the place. We're in the 2nd round. The championship is far too early to call. But up next, we have race 2, which is a 30-minute longer race. Strategy is going to come into play, and we have that reverse grid. The top 12 are going to be reversed. So if my memory serves me correctly, that puts Ayman Haziq on pole. We have all of that action coming to you very soon, but first, a short commercial break.
What is the difference between sim racing and real life racing? Well, they are both real racing, that's for certain. However, one is in the virtual world and one is with real life cars and real life tracks.
The biggest difference is the physics on your body. Now, e-racing is by no means easy to do, but at the end of the day, nothing quite simulates that compression on your body.
The big thing is the G-forces. There are no G-forces. Suddenly, as you're going into a corner as a real racer, you've got this struggle. You're literally battling against it.
So you need to be really fit to be successful in the real thing. Not so much so with sim racing.
When you get into sim racing, suddenly it's almost like losing some of your senses. So you have to actually focus more on the limited senses that you have, which is your sight and your feeling in your hands.
They have the same skill set, but of course they have much less input because they can only rely on the steering wheel and the monitor.
On e-racing, you don't have that struggle. You've just got to guide into it. So it's a different mental calculation.
However, think about what a driver does. What a driver sees and the tools it uses, steering wheel and pedals.
What you do in sim racing is exactly what you do in real life driving.
The techniques required are the same as in real racing.
In the sim world, like from real life drivers to going into the sim world, it's about really fine tuning your driving to get the car to how you want it to be, how you want it to feel, it to rotate and go through a corners.
The only difference could be is just the sensation of speed and...
The danger and the danger of damage is in the real thing, but not in sim racing.
You know that the sim, if you have a crash or any damage, you can just press the restart and everything just restart the back.
But you crash in real life, then there's the bills, the possible injuries.
What sim racers have a big advantage over real life racers is they can do so many more hours.
And it's why now drivers can develop so quickly, learn tracks so quickly.
So it's quite interesting that you get these real drivers doing the sim and vice versa. You get the sim guys jumping into the real thing, and it is quite interchangeable.
To somebody of my age, the idea of e-racing is something that blows the mind a little bit. I'm a traditionalist, and then suddenly we've got this remote, guys. You've got people from all over the world competing against each other. It is a revolution. And it's all graphics related, so the graphic cards are so important. The internet connectivity and the accuracy makes it a completely different sporting playground. And that just opens up the market.
So that's why more and more real-life drivers are doing a lot of sim racing. And at the moment, there's still a bit of a difference between real-life and sim racers. But as time goes on, you'll see all real-life drivers are sim drivers. So in Season 0, we went for tracks that promoted overtaking. So more like typical Formula 1 tracks with long straight. However, for Season 1, we're going to mix things up a bit. We start in Europe and we finish in Europe. And the first two races are Formula 1 tracks. But then we go to tracks that are off the beaten path. We go to Watkins Glen, we go to Zandvoort. We do Suzuka as well. And these are tracks that are harder to overtake, but a lot more challenging for the drivers. And then we go back to Europe and we finish with two Formula 1 tracks at Hockenheim at the Nürburgring.
I really like the first track coming up, Red Bull Ring, actually. It's a bit of a simple track. You have to get everything right because it's so simple. Everyone is fast over there, so it's all about the details. So I think that's a great track for a race, for driving and for overtaking.
Season 1 has some really cool tracks that I'm looking forward to racing in. I'm really enjoying the Red Bull Ring, so I've been practicing on there quite a bit, so I really enjoy that track.
Suzuka is a track that I have ridden around, beautiful flowing, and I've driven around. I'm fascinated to see how these sim racers are able to cope with the many varied obstacles that Suzuka offers. Suzuka, to me, is the perfect racing circuit.
I think round number 3 in Watkins Glen is going to be quite difficult, mainly because I don't have much experience on it.
Each track will have very different things, like you go to Formula 1 tracks like Nürburgring, Hockenheim or Red Bull Ring, those are all about top speed and short corners, so that requires a very specific setup. Then you go to the other tracks like Suzuka, or Watkins Glen, which doesn't have very long straights but are very long corners, and you need a very good balance on the car. So if you don't have that, you're going to be nowhere. I'm quite fortunate because I've been to most of these tracks. I'm a real-life driver. I'm not a sim driver, but I've watched a lot of sim drivers drive on these tracks over the last couple of years. I think we've got the right tracks.
And welcome back to the E1 Championship Season 1, Round 2, here at the Hockenheimring in Germany. As we saw from that video just now, we've got 8 exciting tracks that we're visiting in Season 1. My personal favorite, I'm on the exact same page as Des. Suzuka is my favorite track on the calendar this season. Alex, what's your favorite?
I'm going to look forward to Watkins Glen, actually. That's actually one of the tracks I've not been to. That's good. That throws up some interesting results. It's kind of an unusual circuit. We've got a very high-speed chicane that makes it very tricky to set up the car for.
And a lot of tight and twisty circuits on the calendar this season. Hockenheimring tonight is one of them, and we have a lot of tire wear. We've got ×4 tire wear that we saw in race 1, which meant that strategy with your tires is incredibly important. And looking back at race 1 just now, we saw Presley Martono have an excellent start, and that's because he took that risk with the softs. He was one of the only 2 drivers on the grid taking a gamble on softs. What strategy do you think is going to work for the next race?
Ooh, yeah, I mean, that didn't work out for him because he didn't get a good start. That strategy only worked if he had a good start and he pulled away at the front. That didn't go for him. So now, I think, well, he's an aggressive driver. So I think he might try a 2-stopper. I think the more conservative guys, they're going to go for a 1-stopper with hard tires. But some of the other guys might try and do a 2-stop.
Well, we're going to find out very soon what strategy the drivers go for in race 2. But first, let's take a look at the highlights from race 1.
So here's the start. You see Presley did not get a good start there on the right in the orange car. And so Kalen Chin in the black and red, and then Josh Punt in the other black and red car for Black Arts Racing in P2. Then you see at the first couple corners that Aleef did a really good job of overtaking Presley in another orange car, but it's a Team Flash car, not the JMX Phantom car. They battled. They had a good battle for quite a few laps before Presley just ran out of tire and had to come in for his pit stop. And that put him out of the race. Then Aleef, you know, Kalen wasn't able to maintain that pace, and Aleef was able to get back into the front and take the lead. Good battle for a couple of laps, so, you know, Kalen didn't let him have it easy, you know. And this is where Daniel was talking, you know, Kalen took the wrong line out of here. I don't know why he holds it so tight here, and allowed Aleef to come down the inside of the next right-hander. So maybe that's just one corner I would perhaps say that Kalen could work on a little bit. Then Nakib took it really easy the first few laps, overtook Kalen, and he just obviously saved his tires for the first few laps. And then this is him coming back at Aleef. I thought he was going to get a chance at last corner, but Aleef was very smart at turn 6 and was not able to let Nakib through, and he held on for the win.
Well, that is 3 out of 3 for Aleef Hamilton. I swear it's his nickname. Having Hamilton there as his nickname really helps him keep it at the front. And there we have the top 10. Mohamed Aleef P1, 25 points. Nakib Aslan in second. Kalen Chin in third. Jason Tay, the Team Flash replacement for Mohamed Aleef's brother, is back and living up to that expectation with a top 5 finish. That's very, very important. And Mika Hikimi rounding out the top 5. Well, that was exciting stuff from race 1. Before we go to race 2, I want to do a quick interview with 2 drivers. I think, Alex, let's start with Kalen Chin, a driver we've spoken quite a bit about in the second part of Season 0 and a lot in Round 1. Kalen, I've got a lot of questions for you, but first, with your own words, what happened? How did it go? How was your race 1?
I mean, the race, it was pretty fun, if I'm going to be honest. I was tire conserving the entire time, because had I been pushing, I would have got a puncture, and so I didn't really want to fight too much with Aleef and Nakib. So when Aleef went by, I wanted to give a bit of a fight to maybe destroy his tires a bit, but he got by, which was a little bit of a disappointment. But I mean, Nakib was way quicker on the straights, so I let him by. Wanted to stay in the DRS. And then, yeah, managed to finish P3, which I'm pretty happy about. But, I mean, the win was there, but just tire conserving is what gave me P3 and not P1. But I'm happy about it still, and yeah, I'll see what I can do in race 2.
And tell us a little bit about the nerves. Tell the audience what it's like being in that hot seat, because we can see you smiling when you're under pressure. We can see you constantly looking up at your rear view mirror to see where Aleef Hamilton is. What's it like dealing with that pressure up at the front?
I mean, I honestly don't feel too much pressure. I mean, yeah, I do look in the mirror, like almost every corner, but it's just to know where everyone else is, like the mirrors on the left and right and the virtual mirror. I take a little bit of a peek just to check where they are, and so I don't run into them or anything. What I feel is, I feel like I just have to keep what I'm doing, and just stay composed and don't panic, because if I panic, I'll make mistakes, and yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and you don't want to be doing that. Well, especially not in a longer race 2, which we give you all the best of luck for. We look forward to seeing you carve your way up the field. Speak to you soon. Thank you. All right, I think we've got time for a very quick interview with Nakib Aslan of Stratos Motorsports. Nakib, you suddenly had a lot of pace towards the second half of that race. Where did that come from?
Really, I was just trying to stay patient throughout the race. Qualifying didn't go as planned. Started way down from what I wanted to be. But yeah, I just had to stay patient that first half, fighting with Inigo, and then slowly making up my way up to the front.
Wow, I mean, so that was a really great last lap battle you also had with Aleef. It looked like he went deliberately slow through turn 6 just to back you up. What can you learn? I mean, Aleef is obviously setting the bar at the moment. I mean, what can you learn to try and get the better of him in the next race?
Yeah, so all of this stuff that I'm, all these battles I'm having with him, yes, at the moment I am coming second best, but that only means I can go better from here. So hopefully learning from these losses, shall we say, and hopefully turning them into wins in the future.
Awesome, that's the right attitude. Okay, so one more question. What's the strategy for race 2? Come on, tell us the strategy.
You know he's not going to.
He's not going. Okay,
we're gonna go in the pit stop, that's for sure.
Can you do a one stop? And if you do a one stop, could you use soft tires for one of the stints?
Ooh, might be an idea.
Might be an idea. Okay, thanks very much. Good luck.
Alex, you got to stop asking the drivers these questions. I feel like we want to every race, but they just don't want to tell us anything, keeping us on our seats both pre-race and during the race itself. Well, I'm personally very excited for race 2. Looking forward to seeing what our drivers do strategy-wise. Up next, we have a 30-minute race 2 with a reverse grid, so that's going to be very interesting. Alex, I'll get your bets on strategy soon, but first, a very quick commercial break. See you guys in a bit. Welcome back to the E1 Championship, guys. We've just wrapped up race 1 here in season 1 of round 2 at the Hockenheimring in Germany. We've got race 2 coming up just in a moment. We've got about 2 minutes left of practice just before the race starts. And we're going to throw you over to Alex and Amo in the commentary booth to walk you through a little bit of the action on track.
Thank you, Daniel, and we're happy to be back here for race 2. That was a very exciting race 1, and the strategies, actually you can see the seeds of it coming to play, because now some drivers that we saw on soft tires didn't last very long. Now they're all on hard tires in this one. So I think, Alex, they're going to go for the hard mediums maybe, or hard hards?
Yeah, so everyone's on the hard tires, like you said. So what's the strategy going to be? You know, we're following, riding aboard with Aleef right now. You can see he's trying to figure that out. What's one of the Stratos Motorsports cars, or Scuderia Stratos cars, get sideways. I think people like Aleef and Nakib in the middle of the pack, they're going to go for a one-stop. They're going to go hard. I think the guys at the front might be gambling, and they might go the 2 stops. The guys at the very back might go for 2 stops, and they might try and do... I think everyone's going to start the hard, because it gives them more flexibility. But the guys who 2-stop, they might go softs early on. So it'd be kind of interesting to see what happens. Let's see, maybe one of the top guys might try something a bit more risky. I think we can always count on someone like Mikko Nasi trying to do a 2-stop. He's always coming up with some exciting strategies.
Yep.
And actually, Mikko Nasi's quickest at the moment, and so he's going quite well.
Indeed, and the fact that Mikko's fastest by half a second ahead of his teammate Arwin Taruna for this one. And Arwin, we saw that in practice as well. He's actually one of the fastest guys. We kind of singled him out, saying that, oh, he could be the dark horse. Unfortunately, that didn't happen because he got wiped out in that first lap. Kerfuffle. I don't know who took him out, but that was putting his pen into works.
So Mikko was very quick in round 1, despite having no practice because his PC was down for almost a week. Now he's had more practice for round 2, but he's actually, both safe house cars have not been quick. So I think they're struggling a little bit with the setup of the car. They've just not nailed it for Hockenheim. But maybe a creative strategy like the 2-stop strategy could work for Nasi.
And indeed, the fact that you mentioned about Nasi coming up with the weirder strategies, we also mentioned about Stratos. They also come up with curveball strategies that actually work. Last time out, we saw like the likes of Nakib and even Yevon coming close. Well, Yevon didn't win the race, but he came close to winning. That might actually work out for Mohammed Ibrahim this time. Now then, the drivers are grading up. We got about less than a minute left to go before we see 28 cars around Hockenheim screaming through the Baden-Württemberg forest again. Alex, what's your prediction for this one?
I think Josh Perwin showed some good pace in race 1, but he wasn't able to maintain the tire wear. So you see, at the end of towards the end of the race, he was struggling. I think Josh is going to try and go for a 2-stop strategy. He knows he can't make the tire work, so I think he'll commit to a 2-stop strategy early, and I think he'll be one of the favorites to win, I feel.
Well, he's going to have to do that all the way beyond the top 10 even, because we did mention it just now, but we saw on the live timing screen, he tumbled all the way back beyond the top 15. So he's going to have to work it out from all the way back there with an alternate tire strategy.
Well, I think he actually starts P3, because I think he got into the top 10. We will see. But one of those cars, there's an RSG car, Ayman Hakim, I think is also P2 or P4. He'll be another, so one of those quick boys who didn't have a good race 1, who's at the bottom of the top 10, who's starting near the front. So let's watch these guys.
Right then, here we go. The 5 red lights come onto the gantry now as we are going to wait for him to go. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's a bit of a stationary here. And when they go out now, race 2 is underway at Hockenheim. And it's a good start for Ayman Hakim. In fact, Ayman Hakim actually gets a tailbone run. There's Josh Bowen. Bowen actually goes around the outside of Ayman. Takes second. They're going to go side by side. No. Ayman Hakim gets a clear run. Josh Bowen second. And he's going to try to dive for the lead. No, he doesn't. Bowen actually holds it back. Ayman is being attacked by Mikko Nasi as the field now streams through the Parabolka for the very first time in the second race.
And there we are riding on board right now. There's Ayman and Josh in P1 and 2. There's Ayman in the RSG car, the blue RSG car in P3. Josh there looking to the outside. Goes around the outside of Ayman. Not sure if he's able to do it. There's a safe house car there in P4 as well. So it's super close at the moment as they come out of turn 6, going through the flat out turn 7. Whoa, I think Josh is going to go try and go down the inside of turn 8. Is there space? Yes, he is. Josh goes through, and he just about squeezes through, and he's up to P1.
So 4 different drivers in 4 different teams at the front of the grid for this first few corners. And Josh Perwin with the dive bomb of dreams, we can safely say, because that's not normally an overtaking spot where you should do in a Formula car. At least in DTM, we see that move all the time. But Josh made it through, and now he's going to try to pull away at the front. He's already pulled about a 9-10 guy. In fact, it's going to be a second here coming through the circuit curve as Ayman Hakim goes through as well. He's up to second. He's running better at Hockenheim this time around. Third is Mikko Nasi, and fourth, Ayman Hazik.
Wow, so Mikko Nasi up there to P3 as well. So that's a good performance by the safe house driver. We know how quick he is. And he's within DRS range now of Ayman Hakim. So you gotta feel, let's see, everyone is on the hard tire, like we said. Everyone, just one Vietnamese driver, Hui, is starting on the medium tire. So this is going to be quite exciting now that they're going down the back straight. And Mikko Nasi, right, was he using the DRS? He should be using the DRS. Yes, he is. But the RSG car is super quick down the straight as well. So both cars running light on downforce. Maybe the RSG car even lighter. Yeah, Nasi not close enough to do the overtake at the moment. A little bit further back, Ayman Hazik is just there. Mohammed Ibrahim in the other Stratos Motorsport car up to P5. So that's a good job by him. And then just behind Ibrahim, look at that. Presley Martono in the JMX car is also right there. Yeah, so there's Martona, and behind Martona you got Aleef and Nakib, so they're coming up as well. But we're just right on board right now with Martono and Ibrahim right now. You see Ibrahim on the right hand side, and there's Martono there in the orange car, JMX Phantom. It is a bit confusing, isn't it, the JMX Phantom car being the same color as Team Flash, but there are some small subtle differences.
In fact, it's going to be more confusing in the fact that the Hong Kong team actually have similar colors to the Black Arts car as well. So some teams running the same templates, but nonetheless, the driving quality between all of them is absolutely impressive. And we're watching now AR Muhammad Aleef. Aleef is right behind Prezi Matono. It's going to be take two again. We saw them battling in the first race. Now Aleef actually has the DRS again this time. He's going to go right behind Martono. Is Martono going to defend? Not this time. He's actually almost looking like he's going to let him through serenely. And in fact, Aleef's going to go on the inside. Who's going to be the latest on the brakes? It is Martono, but Martono goes wide and he opens the door up for Nakib Aslan to actually go through. So Nakib actually not making the progress that we all wanted, actually.
Yeah, so there's Presley there up to, Aleef there up to P6, so that's good there for the championship leader. Wow, is he going to get to the front? Can he make it 4 wins out of 4 races, 100% record? He's going to have to contend with some very quick guys at the front. Josh Perwin there right now is running away at the moment. He's got a 2-second lead. He's pushing really hard though. Can he make those tires last? Is he going to go? Because at this stage, with this sort of lead, I would be thinking, okay, maybe I can conserve the tires, because the conservative strategy is always to go for the one less stop. The less time you're in the pit stops, the better it is. And with this sort of lead, I'd be thinking, okay, maybe if I can stretch out this. Or is he just going, am I going to commit to a 2-stop and I'm just going to go as quick as possible?
Well, it's like by all accounts here, I think Josh is just pulling out an initial gap. Then he's trying to hold it off to actually preserve those tires in front of Mikko Nasi, who is no slouch either, because these guys are the best in the business. They can actually push those tires hard, but somehow can still maintain them. Although that said, Josh actually did struggle towards the end. He dropped back to 10th after struggling with tires towards the end. So he might be actually watching out for that. As in fact, Nasi might have to watch out for his Ramirez with Ayman Hakim. Hakim really actually getting him at the hairpin.
So the top 3 really is all going to be about tyre conservation. Let's go a little bit further back. There's a Fadli Rahman right now in the second the JMX cars. He's only 2 positions behind Presley Martono, so he's having a better race too. Kalen Chin's just behind him in P10. Mohammed Nabil, who's been a bit quiet, is just a little bit further behind these cars. And you can see Jason Tay. Jason Tay's not had a good race. There he is right behind Nabil, so he's nowhere. Well, not nowhere, but he's not had a good first few races, so he's a little bit further back. But he's right all over the back of Nabil. Is he going to look down the inside? No, not close enough. So perhaps he'll wait later on. A bit further back, Juktin Chung is not having a good race at the moment. He was so quick in practice, but he's struggling at the moment right now, and he's right behind Whelan Choi. Oh, dives down the inside. Good move there by the Z Challenger car. Really good move. I think he did not have a good first lap, so he's trying to make his way back up the field after a poor first couple of laps.
And Whelan actually there gave him a bit of a fight, to be honest, because Whelan has absolutely improved since the last season. Remember, one of the big highlights we saw last season was when he chucked it around and spun at Bathurst at the worst possible place. So he's mopped up after that, but still way behind compared to the other drivers. So
and let's look a bit further back. You've got the Vietnamese team, Long there. Whoa, he's battling with Lance Lau with I1 Racing. So this is the top of the Vietnamese team's drivers. Long there doing a good job. He finished in the points in round 1, but he's having to fend off Lance Lau. Lance Lau there looking really good down the back straight. Oh, nice move there. And Lau just going down, breaking down the outside. Has he got the move made? No, he's covering the inside at the moment. And Long there just takes back the position at the moment. Good fight. Great battles all the way up and down the field. But there's Lau there right now. Oh. Yeah, losing the... Oh, down the inside, though. Good move there. So some good battles all the way up and down. It's as fierce at the back as it is at the front. But we have to go back to the front right now. And look at Josh Perwin right now. Josh Perwin is looking good. Look, big gap between him, Mikko Nassi in P2. Ayman Hakim has fallen back in P3. And let's look at this battle for fourth position. Wow, Hazik is still there in fourth position, but he's getting overtaken by Aleef. And as they're going through turn 3 and 4 and runs wide, Mohammed Ibrahim is right behind him as well. And there we go, that's right on board with Aleef right now. He's going down the inside of Hazik. He's making it easy for him at the moment as he brake for turn 6. Ibrahim, though, is right behind him. So, dives down the inside of Hazik. Great move by the Indian. And great move. We did not see him in race 1, and here he is coming strong in race 2.
Yeah, indeed. In fact, he was a bit anonymous in that first race, but nonetheless, he's making up for it in the second race. And that move will definitely do him a lot of wonders because he got around one of the faster drivers who came through the GP leaderboard, which is Ayman Hazik, compared to Mohammed Abi, who's actually further behind. Now he's only has his sights set on trying to overtake Muhammad Aleef, but Aleef's in impervious form. That might be a tall order.
Yeah, Aleef's doing a good job just running away. The Stratus Motorsport team will want Ibrahim to stay close to Aleef. Maybe if he can stay close, he can get a bit of DRS and might be able to get back up into the top 4. But at the moment, he's just outside the DRS zone. It looks like Aleef is just running away, and he might actually close up to the top 3 at the moment.
Josh got a slow down penalty there for abusing the track limit. So presumably that's turn 1 because you don't want to actually cut that sausage because that's on the inside of turn 1. So you have to go a bit wide, but too wide and you get that. And the fact that Josh then, while he's actually leading the race, might not want to do that too often because it might actually get Nassi back up close to his tail. Granted, it's 2 seconds right now. He has descended to 1.9 seconds, but that's something that Perwin doesn't want to do often. Granted that he also actually had tyre problems towards the end of that first race.
There's Kalen Chin. He's getting quite racy as well. They're all getting a little bit racy. They're trying to get closer up. Nakib again is having a quiet race. Nakib is just in front of Kalen Chin, having to defend at the moment. Kalen Chin down the inside of Nakib. Good move by the Australian. Slides right, but holds onto the position. Great job there. And Nakib's gone backwards. So Nakib again, very slow start to this race too.
I think that might be the technique for him to do because he did say in interview just now he just wanted to watch over the rear tires and indeed all 4 corners now because it's a longer race and he might just want to keep those tires alive long enough to come through the halfway point and pit. Meanwhile, Kalen actually did an absolutely beautiful send behind the drivers right in front of him on Prasi Matono and to get up to the position where he was right now.
Yeah.
So Kalen down on the charge.
Yeah, so I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Nakib's definitely looking like he's driving for a one-stop strategy. The other cars around him look like they're a bit more aggressive. But back to the front right now. Josh Perwin, again, 2 seconds in front. They're doing a good job right now. Looks like they're doing a really good job, but it just depends on tire wear. Can they make it to the 15-minute mark? How is their tire wear looking right now? If they can do a 15-minute mark, they can do this race on a one-stop. And I think that would be the ideal scenario for the top 3 at the moment.
Indeed, and one stop is going to be the one that's going to think about it not at the back of the minds, but at the forefront of their minds, because everyone, barring from Dang Hogya Hoi, who is on the medium tires, so definitely he's not thinking about two-door strategy. He's just going to go for it. As Nassi then falling further behind there, 2.3 seconds behind Perwin. So Perwin managed to open up a gap here in the second half of the lap.
Yeah, Josh doing a great job there. Let's run through the order. There's Josh Perwin in P1, Mikko Nassi there in P2, Ayman Hakim in P3, and look at that, Aleef Hamilton, or Mohammed Aleef getting a lot closer to Ayman, so that's looking good. Mohammed Ibrahim there in P5 doing a good job there at the moment, holding off Ayman Hazik and Kalen Chin. And of course, Nakib Aslan in P8 with Presi Matono and Jason Tay rounding out the top 10.
And that back marker, that Vietnam car really got in the way of everybody there. Nakib actually went a bit wide, and that might open up the room for Kalen to come back at him. In fact, Kalen actually got overtaken by Nakib there, so Nakib out of our cameras has actually gotten that position back, but Kalen's fighting here through the parabolica. He's got the DRS, he's going to go around the outside. Nope, he's not going to make it this time unless he breaks ultra deep and goes for the switchback like he tried on Aleef. Just couldn't this time, so Nakib manages to hold on to 7, but that back marker, who I think is actually, it was Hui, so Hui actually just got in the way of them for the leaders again. That nearly caused a big accident.
Yeah. So this is a really good battle going on between Nakib and Chin. They're just moving back and forward, back and forward. But for Nakib, you know, he'd be thinking about trying to get to the front. Both of them are trying to get to the front, not showing the pace that they need. There it is, Hui with a drive-through penalty for speeding the pit lane. I think he had just come out of the pit box to change tires. So just showing a little bit of inexperience there. He'll have to serve that. At the front, though, Ayman Hakim is starting to close the gap onto Mikko Nasi.
Yep, and Nasi then will now be looking into his mirrors, and conversely, Hakim also has to look behind because it's actually Aleef now closing up to him. So the top two then, the final positions on the rostrum then are going to change here if they're going to engage in battle. All the while, Josh Bowen will be laughing all the way to the bank here. He's got a 2.8 second pocket in front of him. Now he 2.8 second gap behind him. He can actually just about cruise here before the first pit stops.
I mean, Josh Bowen's doing a great job, you know. That first lap was key. It had the lead. We know he was struggling with tire wear. He couldn't make the tires last in race one, but I think having that lead allowed him to maybe drive a bit softer, look after the tires a bit longer, and that's allowed him to get to the halfway mark, and I'm convinced that he'll be one stopping, and that really puts him into the frame for the race win.
So then, would they go in the hard tires? I think they would, because the medium tires don't seem to last as long as well.
Yeah.
Soft tires is out of the question, obviously, we can't go for that one. So definitely they're going to go for hards for this race, and Josh Bowen then, still looking very pretty at the top. We're looking at Ayman in the inset and on the track right now. He's still closing in on Mikko Nasi. Nasi then will have to engage with him, and this will actually give Josh an opportunity to increase the gap if they engage.
Yeah, and of course Ayman will have the DRS zone as well for this next lap. But let's go a little bit further back, because again, look at this, Kalen Chin and Nakib fighting hard. And Nakib there runs wide. Now Kalen Chin overtakes the Malaysian. Great move by the Australian.
And the fact that actually, oh, look at that, he comes back at him. He actually went wide, and then he dives back onto the inside. Kalen then probably didn't expect that. And who has the DRS for this one? It's Kalen. He actually was ahead. He was behind Nakib when they crossed the line. Now he gets the DRS. Is he going to be brave enough to send it one on the inside from the parabolica to the hairpin? Not this time. Nakib lay on the brakes.
They both had DRS right there. But my favorite driver right now, the guy who I think is doing the best job, has to be Ayman Aziz. In the ERGP leaderboard car, you know, he's got 15 kilo ballast. He just qualified to the ERGP leaderboard, and to be doing this performance with 15 kilos on it is really good job indeed. And he's just running with the top boys at the front. Very, very good job by the Malaysian.
Absolutely, and he, of course, you mentioned earlier, he came back from Japan, and the wheel that he's driving right now, well, that's not actually Ayman Aziz, that's Ibrahim. He actually came back from Japan, directly bought himself a direct drive wheel later that night, the night that he came back from Japan. So lucky son of a gun. He actually has a really good wheel to complement his drive right now. And Ibrahim there in front of him is going to dive to the pits. Yes, there he goes. So the first of the front runners to actually dive in.
Okay, there we go. Like you said, first of the front runners just under the half-minute away of the race. It's the first pit. We've right on board with Kalen Chin. Oh, look again, he's all over the back of Nakib. And look at that, this great battle that these guys are going on. See who can get a good exit out of this turn two. Good, both of them get good exits. They've both got DRS right now. But you know, the Stratos Motorsport car is very light in downforce, so very quick down the straights. Yeah, not getting close. He's just backing off of there. Sends it down the inside.
Wow, what a move. What a move from Kalen. They go side by side through the hairpin, and somehow Nakib hangs it around the outside. That's very brave from both of them. Good driving, and that's the standard that we would love to see at this pinnacle of e-racing in Southeast Asia. Whoa. And in fact, Kalen goes back onto the inside here for the Mercedes-Benz arena, just can't get it through. And all the while, when they're both battling, oh, I think it's a puncture. Nakib actually has a puncture.
Wow. All the guys are running out. Let's go back to the front, because Mikko Nasi is right now. He's got a puncture as well. And Mikko Nasi's trying to get it to the pit lane. The cars are going all over the place. Everyone's going all over the place. Josh has got a pit puncher, and Mikko Nasi just about makes it into the pit lane. Oh, as they come. Yes,
that was Aleef there trying to do a Sebastian Vettel in Shanghai 2016.
Very, very late on the brakes. I hope he wasn't speeding in the pit lane, because that will get him a penalty, as both of them come in there. Very close indeed. So I think Josh Perlman with a puncher, and there he is trying to get into the pit lane.
No, he spun it. He spun it in the pit lane. And who's that without a nose cone? That's actually one of the Stratos cars. It's actually Nakib. Nakib doesn't have a nose cone on his car. It's all kicking off here past the halfway point. They have stayed out one lap too long. And the guy who's looking the smartest of all of this might be Muhammad Ibrahim, who pitted a lap earlier. There he comes across the line. He takes fifth place away from the rest. In fact, he's up to third now. That would look absolutely brilliant for the Indian driver. he's going to get the lead of the race here.
Yeah, so there's Mikko Nasi. He's come out of the pit lane, but this is the guy leading at the moment. Ayman Hakim also stopped the lap early. So Ayman's in the lead now. Great job to stop a bit, one lap early, did the undercut and overtook Nasi for the lead. So he's leading at the moment. Nasi there in P2, and this behind him, Mohammed Ibrahim up to P3. So a great job by the Indian. And of course, in fourth position, right behind Ibrahim, is of course Muhammad Aleef.
Yep, and Kalen Chin, that's a pity for him. We saw just now, he has a drive-through penalty. So that is, I think that was not only just Josh, but actually also for Kalen. They both actually spun in the pit lane, and he tried to speed through and got a drive-through. That's a disaster for both Australians.
Yeah, such a shame there. And Josh there, that's been in the, he should have pitted a lap early. He'll be kicking himself. Anyway, such a tough decision. These are all last-minute decisions they have to make. Obviously made the wrong decision at that moment. And this guy's looking very pretty. Aleef there, up to P4. His championship rivals all spinning out. And Ayman Hakim has a slow-down penalty, track limits abuse, so he'll have to watch out for that. But Nasi there, he's really not. Mikko Nasi's in hunting. He's in fighting distance, isn't he?
Yes, he is. In fact, he has the DRS this time, around 7/10 the gap as they cross the line. Now through the parabolica, will he actually deploy? Of course he does. In fact, he's going to get even closer by the time they come to the hairpin. Will it be close enough to actually just give Ayman a sighter here? Not this time. But he knows full well, Ayman would definitely know full well because he has the gap on the top of the screen, of his screen, to see where Nasi is in relation to him. Not this time. In fact, it's actually increased out the second. Aleef actually overtakes Ibrahim for third. So that pit stop where he actually tried to dink on the inside, cut on the way into the pit lane on Nasi, has now worked out. So now he has actually a lot of ground to make up here in the final 12 minutes that remain.
Okay, so this is getting very tasty indeed. Aleef now up to P3. Wow, so he's going to try and maintain his 100% record. He's really doing it. I mean, he's making all the other drivers are quite ordinary at this stage.
That's Leona Chin going off into the Sachs curve, almost Sebastian Vettel style. So luckily she kept that going, but the tires will not be happy about that. Yeah, in fact, Aleef is making everyone look a bit, well, second rate to be honest, because he's doing it so pedestrianly. It's just like, it's almost like it's effortless. Look at him. He's actually not turning as much as some of the other drivers would. They just floor the steering rate through. As Aleef on the other hand, look at that. Smooth inputs, and that's why I think he can actually get away with not having a puncture after the halfway point.
Yeah, he's got a great feel for the car. He truly understands how to work the slip angles of those front tires. And we talked about it before. That's why he's always quick on all the different platforms. Anyway, there he is. But let's go to the front there, because Mikko Nasi's right on the back of Ayman Hakim as they come out of turn 6.
And the Vietnam car gets out of the way again. I think that is Hoi again. I don't know how many times they've overtaken him this race, but Hoi is sensible this time around. As Nasi goes onto the inside! Nasi goes onto the inside of the Mercedes-Benz arena! Does he make the mistake? Yes, he does! And Ayman will probably not be liking that one bit. That was a surprise maneuver. Look at it, look on his face there. He might have not expected that at all. And with that collision, he might actually risk getting a puncture. Now, with that overtaking maneuver done on him, he actually has Aleef and Ibrahim right at his tail end. That was not what he would have wanted, but that was definitely what Mikko Nasi would have wanted. He's pulled a gap away from the rest of the field.
Wow, so he decided to launch that attack. That was ambitious. I thought he was going to wait another lap, use the DRS to try and pull the gap, but he's not pulled that DRS gap. And that little bit of fighting has really played into the hands of Aleef and Ibrahim, who've now closed down that gap. It's going to be a 4-way fight for the lead.
Wow, and it might not be a 4-way fight after that, because if Nasi manages to pull away from the DRS range, which he does actually do this time, it's just about over a second through the line, across the line. And now we're on board with Ibrahim. He has the DRS. He was under a second behind Aleef. Ayman will be nervously looking over his shoulder now, as there's a bit of a dink there from Aleef. He's trying to look at the inside, but it's not close enough. But the top four here, the tail end of the rostrum, are looking very close.
Yeah, so I think Ayman just trying to put a bit of pressure, showing down the inside of, Aleef trying to put a bit of pressure on Ayman. But Ayman's not falling for it at the moment, and he's looking very comfortable indeed. Not very comfortable, shall I say. I mean, he had that last lap. But it's all about Mikko Nasi at the moment. If he could just pull a little bit further away through these last few corners, he will break the DRS toe.
Yep, and well, look at that, the amount of steering input we are seeing there. That's a very good comparison that we mentioned earlier. Ayman then, with a lot of input, And, well, not that time, because through the sector, you really had to be committed through there. He smoothed it that time, but throughout the way through that last section, Aleef was actually just as smooth, if not even smoother. That's why he could actually maintain the tire life. And he prevented himself from getting punches like what befell to Josh Powen and the rest of the field at the front at that time.
Yeah, let's go a bit further back. In 5th position, Jason Tays moved up. So, wow, Jason Tays did a good job to get up to the top 5. Ayman Hazig's just behind him. Mika Hakimi, they're up to P7. Good job by the RSG driver. Mohamed Nabil, oh, there he is in 8th position, but he's got a big fight with Presley Martono. There's Presley Martono now coming down. Presley will have DRS, and look as he comes out of this corner. He's got the DRS. Is he going to close the gap down to Ayman? Yes, he is. But I think he's a bit far at the moment, isn't he?
Yep, and wait, is that MIC? That's actually Nabil. In fact, Presley Martono tries to go on the inside here. Nabil actually is very kind to actually give the space. But in spite of doing that, they can go side by side coming to the Mercedes arena, and Nabil actually has a better run out of the hairpin and holds on to 8th place, only for at least until Martono tries to go around the outside. There he tries to do vice versa to what Mikko Nasi did, and he does get the move done through the Mercedes-Benz arena. So that's 8th place from Presley Martono, recovering after that rather disappointing end to the first race. Will he hang on to it through the Mercedes-Benz arena? Just about. And behind them is the Eurasia car. Oh, is that a back market? Yeah, it's a back market. That's not actually a bad position. So I thought that Eurasia car was part of that. But either way, Martono then up to 8th, pulling away from Nabil.
Yeah, so Martono there finally makes that position, so that's a good job. And then further back then, Kalen Chin is trying to recover, and he's got Naki behind him as well. Both drivers obviously in that incident just before the first pit stops. And again, they're just separated by a piece of string. They're just always together at the moment today.
Indeed, nothing to separate them. Oh, something happened to... was that Kalen actually overcommitting himself onto the curb and running onto the inside? Or did he actually tried to reduce the time because he had a corner cutting limit somewhere?
I think it might have been a corner cut. Anyway, so Nakib's got the DRS, so he's going to move out. Let's go back to the front, though, because Aleef has managed to overtake Ayman Hakim for P2. So there's only one driver to stand in the way for Aleef to keep his 100% record in the E1 Championship.
And that will be another tough competitor because they're both really, really good drivers in every single game they drive. And both are Singaporeans at the top of their game. One is in front right now, Mikko Nasi, and the other one is Aleef in second. And judging by the gap right now, two seconds flat-ish as they come across the line. When they cross the line now, yeah, about 2 seconds. So if Aleef has enough life in those tires, he can actually try to challenge Nasi. But conversely, Nasi might have actually kept his tires alive long enough because he had that gap and he could drive a bit more smoothly. So it's going to be an intriguing final 6 minutes to the end of the race here to see whether or not these guys have enough tire life in them to actually engage in battle. All the while then, Ayman Hakim is actually falling back into the clutches of Mohamed Ibrahim.
Yeah, Ibrahim there, he's in the DRS zone. So Ayman just struggling a bit of pace again, not able to make those tires last as long perhaps. And Ibrahim going around the outside. Oh, is he going to cover? Yes, that's really close.
A bit of a touch there.
A bit of a touch, but they just about survive at the moment. And Ayman holds on for now.
But at least I know, of course, we know that Ibrahim actually has the second bite of the cherry because he still has DRS coming through the other lap. He has 3 shots of it. And he goes around the outside there of the Mercedes-Benz arena. Doesn't make the move done just by yet. Ayman then looking a bit squirrely at that point last time out. I thought that he actually ran out of tire. And in fact, what happened to Ibrahim? Ibrahim actually gave up a lot of time there. Probably he cut the corner somewhere, so he needed to slow, as we see on screen as well. Inigo Anton, so he's not part of this fight. He's in 14th, only just 2 points for him. We focus on the battle here for 3rd position. Ayman then holding on for dear life. Tooth and nail here, trying to hold on. Oh, there's that, a back marker. Actually, the Vietnam back marker onto the side of Mikko Nasi coming in the first corner. That might be Hoi again. Wow, that is quite scary for all the drivers here because that is just a mobile chicane as he goes through the inside of an I1 car. That's probably Lance Lau. And, well, Lance Lau actually probably not giving way easily either. In fact, that actually has held up. Look at that, he's actually holding up Aleef, and that gives an opportunity for Nasi to pull away here in the final 5 minutes that remain.
Yeah, so Aleef, I mean, Nasi got held up the corner before, and then Aleef got held up. But, you know, he's still within range of Nasi. This race 2 battle is not over. It's going to be fascinating to see. Aleef might be able to hold on to his 100% record. And then just behind them, though, wow, look how close. This is going to come right down very close right now because we've got Ibrahim right on the back of Ayman. Oh, back marker's getting in the way.
Wow, that I1 car really... Well, despite the change in color to look a bit like a Petronas car compared to an all-white, it's still pretty much an outfit. They are learning the ropes here through sim racing. Luckily, that time it wasn't too much of a bother, but for Aleef, he might have wished that he was out of the way that time so that he could be closer to Nasi. Now then, focusing on the battle between 3rd and 4th, and in fact 5th, because Jason Tay is not that far behind him either. So Jason actually is going to give this final scrap on the final roster on the podium. Yeah. In a very interesting one in the final 4 minutes that remain.
Wow, so 3.5 minutes remaining. And this got a great battle between the three of them for these three drivers. Jason Tay then 5th position. But I have to go back to the front because look at that.
Oh, actually,
Miko Nasi is guarding. That gap between Nasi and Aleef is so close right now. Aleef is he's got the DRS and he's going to be challenging for the lead to the next corner.
And hopefully we can watch back to have in 3rd place because here comes Aleef. He goes on the inside. Does he get it? Yes, he does. Just about. Oh, he's going to push Nasi a bit wide. They both touch and Aleef now gets back the room. But it's going to be side by side coming through the Mercedes-Benz arena. All the while 3rd and 4th also swap positions. We're going to go back to them after this for sure. But it's Aleef who takes the lead. And he's going to try to maintain his 100% record. 4 wins on the trot will be an absolute showcase of masterclass here in the E1 Championship.
Yeah, wow, he's making the drivers look very second rate. 100% record coming up. And I was so surprised Nasi didn't defend into 6. I would have thought he would have tried to defend. Maybe he's struggling with tire wear as well because we know that Aleef is very good with the tire wear. But can Nasi come back? Can he try and fight? Will he give up? Or will he try and fight to the end?
Well, meanwhile, before we can go back to that, Ayman Hakim has a puncture. Ayman actually, I think that battle between him and Ibrahim and Jason Tay has actually caused the puncture. It's a slow puncture. He has to come into the pits now, and he's been overtaken as well by his teammate Mika Hakimi and Ayman Hazik. So a disastrous run for Ayman Hakim. It's just going from bad to worse here for the Malaysian who is looking to challenge for the championship this season.
And look at that. Who's up to P3 for Team Flash? Jason Tay. And this is going to be another fantastic round for Team Flash as they run 1 and 3 at the moment.
Wow, like a flash of lightning, but it's colored orange. It's absolutely, it's just a demonstration at the moment from this team. They only specialize in, up to this point, Dota and FIFA, but now they can put sim racing into the repertoire, and they're actually winning out it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, we're riding now on board with Aleef. Not on board, actually. We're just watching him drive as he comes to turns 8, 9, and 10. He's got a back marker to come up again. Always a bit worried when you come against the back markers because you never know exactly how they're going to go. Does get in the way of both of them, actually, as they come to Sachs curve now. Actually, you know, it's not over yet. Oh, Nasi there gets a bit sideways on the way out. I was going to say, Nasi hasn't given up on this, you know. Miko Nasi in P2. He's not actually showing Jason Tay right now in the bottom left and Muhammad Aleef on the bottom right. But Miko Nasi is not giving up on this as they come through turn 1. He's so close, 1 minute to go. So basically, this is the last lap.
Oh, and Nasi knows it. Nasi knows it. He needs to make a move done. And that touch might actually give Aleef a puncture because we've seen before, like what happened last time out with Nabil and Kalen, a slight touch between the front end plate and the rear tires can actually cause a puncture. But Nasi knows he's there. Aleef knows that Nasi's there. And look at that. Nasi around the outside. What a brave move. He outbrakes himself. Does he get the move done now? It's side by side coming out of hairpin. Aleef holds on to it. But Nasi has the DRS still. And he might actually get him through the final sector here. The battle's not over yet. They go side by side coming through the Mercedes-Benz arena. Nasi goes onto the inside. He pushes Aleef off. Aleef's off the circuit. And Nasi takes the lead. What an absolutely brilliant battle here for the lead in race 2. And it is going to be Nasi who breaks the Aleef stronghold here in season 1. What an absolutely brilliant end to the race.
Wow, it's not over yet. Do one of them have a punches? Aleef is running a bit wide there, but I can't believe it. Miko Nasi through in the last lap.
Wow, and Nasi then showing why he's a gritty driver. He comes around the final corner. Unfortunately, we can't see the top half of his face because his camera is there. But Nasi takes the win in race 2 at Hockenheim in dramatic circumstances. Aleef comes in second. He looks a bit disconsolate, but he'll be happy to know the fact that he can extend his championship lead. Third is Muhammad Ibrahim with a great strategy to actually get him out to 3rd place.
Wow, how exciting was that? Wow, we have to talk to the race winner.
What an absolute masterclass. Let's jump on the line with Miko Nasi, the calm, cool Finn. He's back. Miko, you are back. How was that race 2? So much going on. Walk us through your race. Yep, we can see you. Good angle. Oh, you're muted, Miko.
Miko, great result. How was
that?
Good, you're good to go. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, Megan, I mean, the main thing, I practiced before the race would start, because in the first race my start just didn't work at all. So, yeah, got a good start. First stint, it's about saving tires mainly. And unfortunately, at the end of the last stint, I think Josh must have been on 0%, so he was taking it really easily. And then when I overtook him, we came together as well, and then we both punctured, which added a fair bit of drama to the pit entry. But yeah, last lap stuff was mega.
And in your simulations and practice, did you guys preempt these punctures, or were they a total surprise?
Well, we knew that the punctures were coming based on like previous races, but yeah, so it was like trying to save tires and then trying to attack as well. So it's really tough to manage.
And those final laps, those final lunges, a lot of aggression on your side despite your calm and cool demeanor. How are those overtakes? How is your car doing?
Yeah, I think it was aggression on both sides. It was on the first impact. I just braked my normal, and it was a little bit too late. So then I kind of had to try to dive to avoid Aleef. And then after that, I think he took that as aggression, so he was aggressive back to me as well. And yeah, it was a mega last lap.
All right, well, a masterclass in racecraft. Thank you so much, Miko. Good to see you back at the top step of the podium and ending Mohammed Aleef's winning streak. Looking forward to more in the rest of the season. Thank you.
Well, then the interview just lasted longer a bit to view the results, but it's no stating obvious here. Nasi with the win dramatically in the final few corners of the race, ahead of Aleef, with Ibrahim with a good third place after a great pit stop. Then is Jason, Mika with a good result for himself in fifth. Aimazi, Nakib Aslan, Mohammed Nabil's brother behind him. Aimakin recovering to ninth and Kaylin Chin 10th. What an absolutely amazing race, Alex.
What a great race. I mean, that's so close. I mean, we're so spoiled with such great races we have in E1 Championship. I thought that Miko was done when Aleef first got him, because I thought maybe he was struggling with tires, but at the end, I think he was just biding his time, and that's a perfect move in the last lap. I thought he'd actually blown it at turn 2, because when they had the contact, because he dropped back, but he was able to get him out of the hairpin, and a really great move down the inside. There was contact, but I think it was an acceptable amount.
Was it enough to actually destabilize Aleef that his tires might have actually been shot afterwards, and Nasi might have gotten in at the end because of that?
I'm not so sure, because I mean, even watching that, after that contact, Aleef had a really good exit out of that corner, despite him being narrow. So I think his tires are actually in pretty good shape, so he could fight.
All right then, so that's the end of round 2 for Season 1 of the E1 Championship. We're going to go back to Daniel now in the studio to dissect, to have the analysis after 2 amazing races.
That's right, 2 amazing races indeed, and we're going to be spoiled with an extensive highlight reel from race 2. A lot of action coming up, but first, a quick commercial break, and we'll be back soon.
E1 Championship Season 1 gets underway. Aleef leads the way. Tasby alongside him. Nakib in the lime green is close behind.
Last week was an eventful race.
As Nasi goes on the inside of Nakib. Oh, there's a bit of contact. The back markers have got to be careful.
Contact between the two of them. No, that was contact. There's contact. No contact. They give each other just enough racing room.
Aleef Hamilton is leading the way after 1 lap.
Well, it was the Aleef Hamilton show, wasn't it?
He just put in a stellar performance to walk away with 2 wins back-to-back.
And the race double goes to Aleef Hamilton.
Red Bull Ring was actually very, very satisfying.
Not only Aleef, but Tasby played his part as well.
For me to be in the top 3 with my brother, I feel happy.
The way he managed to keep calm and keep cool and try to make his way to the front was very, very promising.
Jason is going to come back to Team Flash to replace Tasby, and he's got big shoes to fill.
I definitely do believe I can get back up to speed.
The drivers that I thought should have done a little bit better really had to be Miko Nasi and Nakib Aslan.
Not going to be a good weekend for Nakib.
Disappointing for a lot of drivers. Nakib had the issue with the lag as well that kind of put him out of the race.
The defending champion out of the points, Alex, because he was barged out of the way.
Unfortunately for me, in race 2, we had certain technicalities.
One of the drivers that surprised me was how quick Kaylin Chin was.
Kaylin Chin very, very close on the back of Mohammed Nabil.
I had the chance to win, but contact with Nabil caused me to get a puncture.
He's got a puncher,
Oh dear.
Yeah.
I think what the new boys have found, this is a level above what they're used to. A apart from Mohammed Ibrahim.
It's the first time he's been racing in the Championship.
Let's talk about Ibrahim. He's been very, very quiet, but there he is. He got 5th position in race 1, and now he's up to P3 in race 2.
Last week was a good race for me. It was the first race on RaceRoom.
Nabil Aslan as well.
Both the brothers are very strong.
Mohammed Nabil, the brother of Nakib, is the man who's got himself into P2.
It really exceeded my expectations because I never thought I'll be getting a podium in my first race.
The fact that he took the podium instead of me, it makes me a bit unhappy, but it'll be another good fight this weekend.
Everybody else has got to up their game because Aleef is the man to beat.
Aleef Hamilton is leading the way. Aleef Hamilton takes race number 1, winner of race number 1. He's taking it nice and easily. The winner of race 1 majestically got himself up into P5.
Fantastic. He's up to P2 now.
And the race double goes to Aleef Hamilton.
We've got to capitalize on having no success ballot.
I know where all the overtaking spots are.
We're 100% confident with all possible scenarios.
Focus on my qualifying pace. Stay clean but aggressive at the same time.
Trying to not overthink.
Avoid any unnecessary penalties.
It's always great to get new names coming onto the leaderboards. Hockenheim could be the track where it happened.
And Arif goes on the inside.
Kevin David made it through.
Troy Iman's got the better of Nakib. Season 0 champion!
Hi, my name's Nakib Aslan and I'm E1 Season 0's champion.
My name's Yavan David from Sri Lanka.
My name is Troy Iman.
I'm Arif Azmi.
My name's James Russell and I'm the team manager for both Stratos Motorsports as well as Scuderia Stratos.
Well, I think Stratos Motorsports had an advantage because there were kind of two teams. They had Stratos Motorsports and Scuderia Stratos. So they had 4 drivers always testing together and working together.
I have quite a lot of experience running a race team, having run Stratos for now 11 years.
I actually came completely from a sim racing background. I've never done real life racing before this. I knew James, did some karting with him. With the announcement of E1 Championship happening, he approached me asking if I want to do it and I didn't want to say no.
Since I was already participating in the Rotax Max races with Stratos Motorsports, so he just asked me about this E1 Championship.
I got approached because I was already part of the Stratos family in kart. I started off with them.
With Yevan last season, everything was really, really good. He actually got the opportunity to go to Europe this year to race full-time in the World Championship in karts. So we did end up with an empty seat.
Unfortunately, Yevan couldn't join me for this season. So me and James, we had a talk. We had several names and Ibrahim was the best option.
Hello everyone, my name is Mohammed Ibrahim. I did my first Rotex race with Stratos, so I knew James Russell from before.
Ibrahim has been a front runner, if not the champion, in everything that I've seen. He was almost a natural choice for us to replace Yevan.
I think in any change, there is an obstacle and there is a challenge.
They are not too familiar with each other at the moment. However, that will change very, very quickly.
It's a great thing to have a champion beside you because you have the best benchmark and you can learn everything from him.
Hopefully, we can work together well and bring back another championship this season.
Stratos is one of the top teams.
I've got to say the performance of Nakib Aslan did impress me.
He drove superbly throughout the whole championship.
He's just on another level. He's really, really good.
Don't expect me to slow down.
For me, it's just to improve with every race, pick up a few podiums.
Stay consistent, try to finish top 5.
For Stratos Motorsports, the goal has to be the championship.
I love that graphic, the green armies. Now, we saw a lot of the green armies in Season 0. Of course, they were our inaugural E1 Championship team winners as well as Drivers' Championship winners. But coming into, we've just wrapped up 2 rounds here in Season 1. Alex, what are your collective thoughts about their performance so far?
Well, I mean, Team Flash, what a great job. Singapore-based team, and of course, Aleef. 3 wins out of 4.
Yep, that's right.
Very good. You just talk about Stratos, right? They are going to be fuming about this. They're going to be hurt by this. They are a real-life team. They came to sim racing, and they're going to want to try and take control again.
Well, we haven't just seen an upset in the Green Army camp. We've also seen an upset at the first half of Race 2 in the Orange Army camp, and that was with Josh Perwin. So let's speak to Josh Perwin, who had a fantastic start to Race 2. Let's get a little bit more insight from him. Josh, hello there.
Hello. Hello.
Give us a little bit of insights into how your Race 2 went, because your opening laps were stunning.
Well, I knew that we had a really fast car. Our setup was quite good, but I knew that I didn't have the tire saving skills of some of the other drivers behind me. So we were kind of umming and ahhing whether we would try the one stop or the two stop. But then after I got into the lead of the race and I was pulling a gap, we decided that we would risk it for the one stop. And so we had to do an extra lap. So I started the lap, I think, on like 3% tire wear left. And I knew that I could make it home as long as I didn't, hit any like curbs or anything that would cause a puncture. But then Miko dive bombed me at the stadium section, and that ended up giving me a puncture, so I struggled the last like few hundred meters to get back to the pit lane, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that was actually a very interesting lap in the race, because it wasn't just you, actually a handful of drivers on the hard tires as well experienced tire punctures. Walk us through the opening laps, because those are the most important for a racing driver, and you just managed to pull an incredible lead and get yourself out of that DRS zone. So what's going through your mind, and how are you actually doing that?
Well, I guess at the time I was quite relaxed because I knew there was still a long way to go. I knew that I just had to keep on. I was pretty consistent as well because in race 1 I was really scruffy through turn 1 a lot, so I kind of ironed that out in the second race. Especially while I was alone out on track, I didn't have any dirty air. It made it a lot easier to drive. At the start, I managed to get ahead of Ayman Akin before turn 1, and then I ended up getting past. I knew that I had to get past Ayman Hazik before the start of the second lap, and then I ended up getting the second gap, so no one had DRS luckily for lap 2. So yeah, I was really happy with the start of my race. It's just the ending wasn't that good.
Yeah, well, Josh, we saw you with guest appearances in Season 0. It's been a pleasure seeing you up at the front so far in Season 1. We look forward to seeing what else you get up to in the next races. But thank you very much, and best of luck. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, Alex, I think we should speak to Jason Tay, who came in as a, I wouldn't say substitute, he's actually replaced Mohamed Tasbi from last race.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, Jason, not a bad first race, first round for you in E1. You quite happy with how it went?
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. Like, it was clean. P4 in both races, I can't complain much. It's been a while since I got into competitive racing, and really happy with the results and looking forward to more.
I mean, you certainly look quick enough, don't you? I think you're going to be challenging for podiums and race wins as well. Yeah, I mean, your teammate did a great job as well. So maybe just a little bit more you guys got to find?
Yeah, Aleef is amazing. Like, as usual, he's Aleef lah. So congrats to him. Yeah, but for me, I'm definitely looking for more pace to come from my side. I need to get up to speed to challenge for podiums and maybe even wins. Maybe even have a tussle with Aleef. Who knows? Yeah. But yeah, let's see how it goes.
You've got a smile on your face, but you must be going through incredible pressure. Obviously, with Mohamed Tasbi putting in a podium result in the last round, and your teammate Aleef Hamilton, of course, on top in most of the races. What's it like dealing with that pressure, and do you actually feel that pressure?
When I'm racing, it's better to not think of it at all. Like, over the years, I've learned that putting pressure on yourself doesn't do you any good in racing, actually. Especially in sim racing, because there's no way you can exert that physical energy out. So, like, if you get nervous, it gets worse and worse throughout the race. You make a lot of mistakes. So it's better to just keep a clear mind and just don't think about it and trust your own abilities.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thank you, Jason. Alex, I feel like we've got time for one more interview. Let's speak to Naqib Aslan of Stratos Motorsports. Just before we came back from this commercial break, we had a quick excerpt on the Green Army. Naqib, hello. That was an exciting race too. Walk us through it, please.
Yeah, so it was going well. We had decent starts, obviously with the reverse grid. Made good amount of places, and yeah, we just set to go through the races and, you know, make position one by one. Sadly, we couldn't keep up with Aleef at that stage. We got stuck behind Ayman and I think it was Ibrahim, so the dirty air was really hard for me. And then, yeah, I made contact with another competitor, caused me to have a puncture, which, yeah, put me back in the grid. But overall, I think it was a good recovery in the end.
I mean, Naqib, it did look like a difficult day. I mean, race 1 wasn't so bad. You got runner-up, you almost took the win. Race 2 didn't go your way, but it looks like you're still struggling a little bit for pace. Back to the drawing board, what do you have to do to try and turn things around for round 3?
Yeah, I think the first 2 rounds hasn't gone as planned. Obviously, we have been fighting at the front, but it hasn't been going consistently in race 2 for us. So hopefully, we'll be working harder for race 3, for round 3, hopefully, and bring back some wins this time.
All right,
Okay.
well,
Thank you.
we shall see if
Thank
the
you.
Green Army gets back to the top step of the podium. We've got 6 more rounds to go. And up next, that was a hectic race too, so it's going to be an extensive highlight reel, but let's throw it to the highlights and see what happened just now.
Okay, so here are the highlights for race 2. Good battle at the front where Josh Perlman was pulling away at the front, but we saw this great battle between Kalen Chin and Nakib. Just kind of went the whole race until this contact put Nakib off. And then here, as they try to get to the pit lane, contact with Perwin and Mikko Nassi meant they both had punches, but Mikko Nassi was able to get out of the pit lane and lead at this point. But then Aleef was able to overtake Mikko on the last lap, tried to go around the outside turn 6, didn't quite make it, but he wasn't going to give up, and he down the inside of that corner, well, right on the limit, and it was just enough to take the lead, and he would hold on to the win.
And let's take a look at our top 10 results from race 2 at the Hockenheimring in Germany. It was Mikko Nassi, the calm, cool, collected Finn, back on the top step of the podium, first time since season 0, just ahead of Muhammad Aleef. A lot of barging their way through, a lot of aggressive overtakes, some great racing. This is what we love to see in motorsports. I think this is going to be a fight that we're going to be seeing in all the races moving forward. And Mohamed Ibrahim, the Stratos driver, wrapping up the top 3. Now let's take a look at the overall final results from round 2 here at Hockenheim. It's still Muhammad Aleef, Hamilton with 46 points in the lead. Not as big of a gap as he had in round 1, but still a big gap nonetheless. Mikko Nassi in second, Nakib Aslan in third. We've got newcomer Jason Tay just outside the top 5 in 6th. And we have Ayman Haziq of Team ERGP rounding out the top 10. Now, Alex, last week we had a curveball strategy from Mikko. He went on softs, didn't quite work out, ultimately lost him the lead, but things have started to work out a bit more in his favor tonight.
Yeah.
What do you think he's done differently, and how is he going to apply that to the future races?
I think I still feel Safehouse are catching up a bit. You know, they haven't had consistency. The driver changes have changed quite a bit, so it's going to be a bit tricky to see. I think he still needs to find a bit more time. I think he did a great job in race 2, maximized his performance, but Safehouse need to find a bit more, I think.
Well, we spoke about the similarities between round 1's track and round 2's track, so Red Bull Ring and Hockenheim, but next week we move from Europe, we go all the way to North America, we go to Watkins Glen, which is actually in New York. Very different track style, right, Alex?
Yeah, it is. It's long. There are some long straights on it, but there's long corners as well. So you really need a good balance in the car through these long corners. A bit of an old school track, some elevation changes. And there's a very high speed chicane at the end of the back straight where you have to really commit and really ride the curbs well. A lot of these drivers will not have driven in this track, so they're going to have a very important week of trying to learn it. Look at the elevation changes through here. Great track to drive. And I think it might shake up the order a little bit.
Yep, that's definitely an exciting track. I haven't actually experienced it too much. It's a very American track. You get a lot of American racing series like IndyCar going there. So exactly as you said, drivers may not necessarily be too used to it. And I think that's really where we're going to see which of the more talented drivers are going to come out. The ones that haven't had as much practice, really showing who's going to come out on top. So as we wrap up the end of the show, let's take a look at the top 5 of the individual championship standings. And there we have Muhammad Aleef Hamilton in first.
Yep, and big lead at this stage of the championship. Ibrahim in second, and his Stratos teammate Muhammad Nakib Aslan in P3. Mikko Nassi is a big mover, all the way up to 4th position, so you know, he's can't discount him with the championship. And Kalen Chin, very fast Kalen Chin, who I think is turning out to be a bit of a fan favorite in P5.
Yep, a very strong top 5 driver lineup. But let's look at the top 5 teams. At his team flash again, pulling in dare I say, quite a substantial lead in first place ahead of Stratos Motorsports, the defending champions, who are going to want to be catching up their lead. But a long season left to go.
Yeah, and Stratos Motorsport, you know, they're not out of this at all. You know, Ibrahim and Aslan are a very strong pairing. RSG just falling off the pace a bit. Well, actually, very close battle for third position between RSG, ERGP, and Safehouse.
And that's all we have for tonight, folks. Don't forget, you can catch us live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. We're broadcasting across many different locations across Asia Pacific. Don't forget to smash the like button as well on Facebook for both the E1 Championship and the EGG Network. My special thanks to Alex here with me and Amo in the commentary box. We will see you next week in Watkins Glen. Stay safe and good night.